We often get on with the job. We don't always talk about it as much as men, but we get on doing it. The women are very much more modest in running for Parliament than men. Nothing like as many of them put up, as you know.
Stay tuned to hear more history as it unfolds before your ears. It's the audio archives of Fox News Talk.
Fox News is now streaming live on Fox One. The voices you trust, the stories you won't find anywhere else.
This is the story breaking right now.
Fox One, we live for live.
Try free for 7 days. Offers are subject to change. Go to Fox One for complete terms and conditions.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps in the afternoon.
Day 16 of the Schumer shutdown. We'll speak with Congressman Dr. Bob Onder about what it will take for Dems to open the government back up.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps. Weekdays at 4 on News Talk STL.
Hi, it's Chris Arps, and I've been a customer of Royal Banks, Missouri for many years. They're a full-service, locally owned and operated community bank with 17 locations throughout the St. Louis area, including locations in Hannibal, Jerseyville, Granite City, as well as 2 locations in St. Charles. Plus, given today's headlines in the overall banking industry, it is reassuring to know Royal Banks, Missouri has the highest financial ratings in St. Louis for stability and strength. Royal Banks of Missouri is reinvesting in its hometown University City. They've now opened the doors to their new location at 8550 Olive Boulevard at the corner of Olive and McKnight. Stop by to see their refreshed look, the same exceptional Royal Bank service you know and trust. Learn more about the move in University City by visiting royalbanksofmo.com today. That's Royal Banks of Missouri, the community bank for your community. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
This is Elizabeth Kaiser. If you're a self-insured employer with a minimum of 200 plan members, listen up, because we've only got until December 31st. There's $600 billion on the table for you from a historic settlement agreement. Meet Bill Schmaltz.
Thank you, Elizabeth. The program's called Pharmaceutical Industry Overcharging Recovery Program. The money is available. It's already been litigated. You just need to ask for it. I'm going to help you get that money, and I'm going to give you a couple of examples. 200 members on the plan, $840K, 500 members, $2.1 million, 4.2 million with 1,000, and it keeps going up. You can contact me at bill@ecgins.com. The more people you have on your plan, the more recovery money you're entitled to. The money's there. There's nothing you have to do other than fill out paperwork. Contact me, bill@ecgins.com, and we'll help you get that. bill@ecgins.com.
That's bill@ecgins.com.
Bill O'Reilly here, and I'm warming up. Stand by for the O'Reilly Update Morning Edition. But first, what happens when flu season hits and your medicine cabinet is empty? Don't get caught off guard. All Family Pharmacy makes it simple to prepare. If you want to be proactive with your health, this is the pharmacy for you. Stock up now on Tamiflu, antibiotics, antivirals, ivermectin, immune support, and much more. Delivered fast with a doctor's prescription included. Visit All Family Pharmacy, one word, allfamilypharmacy.com/Bill. Use promo code Bill to save 10%. On this Friday, after spending 4 days in Washington, D.C., I am glad I am home on Long Island. It's not that Washington is such a bad town. It's got good restaurants. It's fairly easy to navigate. With the National Guard and the FBI running around, it's no longer dangerous. And it's got a lot of things to see. But the culture is not conducive to the O'Reilly method. How about that? The O'Reilly method. Why? Too many meetings. They meet about everything. They want to discuss everything to death. And when you deal with the bureaucracy in D.C., as I have the last 4 days, you got to be patient. I'm not a patient man. I go in, I say, here's what we'd like to do or not do or whatever it may be, and let's make a decision. Oh, no. Got to have 5 guys, a couple of gals, and they're ruminating, and maybe we do this. It drives me nuts. And I think it drives President Trump nuts too, but I don't know that. I'm not there every day in the Oval Office. I am at O'Reilly headquarters, and we do look at the data. We do take opposing points of view into context, but we make fast decisions, unlike our nation's capital. Back in a moment. Homeowners, when is the last time you checked your home title? Scammers are targeting your equity with just a single forged document they file at the county. So don't wait until it's too late. Find out if you are already a victim today. Please go to HomeTitleLock.com and use promo code BILL to get a free title history report, plus a free trial of their $1 million triple lock protection. That is the Morning O'Reilly Update. More analysis later on.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
Some beneficial rain on the way for Saturday, but maybe a few stronger storms, too. First, though, let's squeeze in one more dry and warm day. Partly sunny this afternoon, a high of 84. Generally quiet tonight, a relatively warm low of 67. Then tomorrow, rain and storms likely as a cold front approaches. A few severe thunderstorms possible with wind and hail. Our main concerns, a high of 80 tomorrow. Much cooler and breezy Sunday with a high of only 66. From the First Alert 4 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers.
Let's get moving, St. Louis. This is Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
You know, the whole country is really kind of invested in this race for Attorney General in Virginia. This is the one where, you know, Jay Jones, he kind of fantasized about murdering a political opponent and his family. Yeah, really, really gross stuff. So at 8:05, we've got an update from the Commonwealth. We're going to have Teri Christoph from RedState.com going to be with us to give us the update on what's really happening there, and then talk about why is this capturing the attention of the entire country, because it's kind of a sign of the times of the way things are going in politics. All right, good morning. Happy Flashback Friday to you. Mike Ferguson here. As always, I'm looking forward to seeing what you picked. I got a little bit of a hint of the theme this week because, Jerome frankly spilled the beans a little bit on it. But yeah, I'm curious to see what it is because I don't know what the songs are just yet. But anyway, on Thursday's program, Lieutenant Governor David Wassinger was on. And it's one of the interesting things happening in Missouri in particular, which is going to affect a little bit of the Illinois side, maybe Metro East a little bit, is the upcoming World Cup playing some of the games right here in the Show Me State. Now, if you're not a soccer fan, you may say, doesn't affect me, but it actually does. And the dollars are really, really big, and you may see a whole lot of strangers in your community. Here's what the lieutenant governor had to say.
A lot of people, I think, don't realize one of the specific duties of the office to which we elected you has to do with tourism in the state. And we're talking about the World Cup going to have a presence in Missouri. And while soccer isn't the most popular thing here in the U.S., it is bigger than the World Cup is bigger than the Olympics worldwide. This is the largest sporting event in the world. What's Missouri's role in that going to be?
It's going to have a huge role. So our beautiful state, by the way, it's October in Missouri. Is there a better month of the year than October in Missouri? The leaves are changing. The weather's perfect. So thanks for having me on, guys.
You got it.
Yeah, if you're not a soccer fan, I grew up in Hannibal playing, football, basketball, baseball. I wasn't really a soccer guy, so I've learned a lot about this. As you said, it is the biggest event in the world. And what we're doing is we're going to be host. Kansas City has been awarded 6 games starting on June 16th and running through July 11th. So we know we're getting 6 games. And the people from all over the world will be traveling to Missouri, and they're not just going to stay in Kansas City. They're going to travel throughout the state. One of the biggest requests we're getting is, what is Route 66? They want to get on Route 66, run from, Chicago to St. Louis down to Joplin and tour. So a lot of the bed and breakfasts on Route 66 are already being filled up. And the other thing we're trying to do is, so the teams the matches for Kansas City will be announced on December 5th. So we'll know who's playing in Kansas City. The other thing we're trying to do is both St. Louis and Kansas City have FIFA qualified stadiums. We've got the soccer stadium in St. Louis, and also St. Louis University has a training facility, which is FIFA qualified. In Kansas City, also has a similar situation. So these teams need to come over for 30 days for a base camp to practice, and then they go fly to their respective games. So we're trying to get a base camp in St. Louis and Kansas City, and if we're successful in doing that, all these fans will come over, hopefully stay at the hotels for 30 days or so in Missouri, and then they'll begin go over down Route 66, go to see the games. So there could be hundreds of thousands of people coming to visit the great state of Missouri next year just for the soccer games. And on top of that, Route 66, the 100th anniversary of Route 66 is next year. And then we also have America 250, the 250th anniversary of America is next year. So those three things, the World Cup, the largest event in the world, Route 66, the 100th anniversary, and America 250, 250th anniversary of our great country. Where else do you want to be other than the great state of Missouri next year? So this is going to be really, really exciting, and book your hotel rooms early.
Okay, so how would you assess the state's readiness for this? Because this isn't something that you go, oh, we got a game coming to town. Let's bring in some. You got to plan for this early on. So from the hospitality perspective, how would you rate how Missouri and the business community is doing? And then obviously there are going to be things like security concerns and infrastructure concerns. How well are we prepared for this?
These people have been working on this for 10 years. So you have issues. Give you a couple of examples and I just saw in St. Charles, if we're awarded base camp, the bars in Europe for these soccer games typically will stay open all night. So there's some cultural issues. There's issues. Europeans do not tip. So when, a waiter and they don't tip over in Europe. So there's a lot of nuances, just in terms of cultural issues that we're going to have to address. And some of these may be temporary legislation where the bars are able to stay open until. And on top of that, you have huge security issues. As you mentioned, this is the biggest event in the world, and getting the security ramped up. I think President Trump is all over this. There are 12 people in Kansas City working full time on this and have been for years. So that's how big an event this is going to be for Missouri.
Yeah, and I'm assuming the game is at Arrowhead Stadium. I would think the game's actually going to be competed.
Correct.
There. Yeah, because they hold.
They'll be at Arrowhead Stadium, and there'll be 6 matches played there, and then the actual championship game will be played up in Meadowlands up near New York.
Right.
So, but from June 16th through July 11th, we know we're going to have some games in Kansas City. So I would anticipate getting a whole lot of folks from throughout the globe visiting our great state of Missouri during that time frame.
So for those of us who just live here, what are we likely to notice, or what's likely to change for us?
Well, if we get a base camp, for example, in St. Louis, it would take the Germans. We've got a great German heritage in Missouri. So you got Bayer, which is a German company. You've got Herman, Missouri, where you run along the Missouri River. We've got so let's assume we have we're lucky enough to be awarded the German team for a base camp. For 30 days, the team would, practice in downtown St. Louis. All the fans from throughout, particularly from Germany, would be coming over. So you would see a lot of Germans, running around, spending their tax dollars or spending their money and bolstering our economy. They would probably get in the car, want to drive down to Herman, see the German heritage. So do you take a team like that? You're talking about millions and millions of dollars in tourism revenue.
Okay, we're visiting with Lieutenant Governor David Wassinger right now, and we are less than 2 months from the next legislative session. Good night. We are that close. When you look at the things that need to get past the finish line, there were some really good things that were proposed. Some of them got passed. Some of them didn't quite make it. What would you hope would be the priorities of the Republican caucus and the Republican Party in 2026? I mean, what should those conversations look like right now?
It's going to be a tough budget year. We need to get these tax structure in Missouri, situated, both income tax, but the biggest complaint we've gotten, probably our office has received one of the biggest complaints over the last 2 or 3 months, and this would include my own complaint, is the real estate property taxes. They've just gone through the roof, these assessments. It's statewide. You get complaints from throughout Joplin, all the way up to, here in St. Louis and throughout the state. So these real estate property taxes, the state tax commission, I don't know if your listeners
Sure.
have been affected by that, but I know I have personally, and we've gotten a lot of complaints on that. So the tax issues in the way Missouri deals with those are going to have to be addressed, and that would include the real estate taxes. People are having a hard time you end up leasing your house to the government. You end up paying your mortgage off. And I'm the official advocate for seniors in Missouri. So a person on a fixed income, who's 70 years old and retired, they continue to get these property tax assessments that go up and up and up and up. And then utility bills go up and up and up. These data centers, we got to be real careful. That the seniors and other folks in Missouri are not going to be, bearing the bulk cost of these huge data centers that are being proposed. So those are some big issues that Missouri needs to address. Is protecting our, as I describe it, the forgotten men and women. That would include our seniors who are on a fixed income, making sure they're not being priced out of their homes.
And pretty much all of the property taxes are local. So what would need to change in the structure? I mean, what could the state do? Is it just a matter of limiting what can be charged, limiting what can be expanded, or limiting what can be used for property taxes? Because, by the way, I'm with you, David. I think property taxes may be among the most immoral taxes that we have. But the question is, what then can the state government do about it? Because the locals are going to scream bloody murder because they want to continue to just tax people.
Yeah, so an effort was made, when they had this, what I call the not so special session for Kansas City Chiefs and Royals funding, that was a quote extraordinary or special session that was called. I call it a not so special session. Part of that, in order to get that done, they made a run at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, in a half-hearted fashion to try to cap these real estate taxes throughout the state. The more blue counties objected. For example, St. Louis County, Jackson County, they like taxes. So it was a very half-hearted effort try to do done a typical Missouri legislature trying to do something in a totally dysfunctional fashion at 2 o'clock in the morning, which probably is not going to survive some court challenges. So that it can be done on the state level if we would get our act together over in the state legislature, particularly the state Senate.
Yeah. And do we have any talks that you know of as to what that would actually look like to do that reform? Is it a matter of saying, okay, because that deal you're referring to was hammered out by Rick Bratton, and I think you're right. I think it's probably going to get tossed in court. Nobody's going to get property tax relief on this because I think it was put together so badly. So I think you're assessing it right for whatever that's worth. And then at this point, then is a matter of saying, okay, let's look at that property tax relief and just apply it equally, because I suspect that's where the courts are going to throw it out, is because it's different rates and different laws for different counties instead of just applying it the same way to Missourians across the state.
Yeah, I think one of the issues or one of the ways to peel the onion is capping it. For example, I think there was a proposal to cap it at no more than 5%, an increased assessment. My neighbor, his house, he came another one of my complaints, up 42%, over the year. Again, if you're a senior on a fixed income and your appraised value of your assessment's going up 42%, you throw your budget out the window because the government's just stuck it to you, and may have to put your house up for sale. So this is a big issue that hits. I know my neighbors. It hit me. It hit a number of people from across the state. So I think we're going to have to look at capping this. The state tax commission. There are a lot of issues with the way it's being run and handled. So it is not to get too far in the weeds. I think there is something that can be done on the statewide level to rein these real estate taxes in, together with personal property taxes. When you go buy a computer, do you have to pay personal property tax on that computer for the rest of the duration of the computer? You have to do that with your cars. It's a disincentive. I've got a 2015 Ford F-150 truck that I'm reluctant to go buy another truck because I got to be stuck with these personal property taxes. You're paying. So it's a disincentive having these owners' personal property taxes on assessed to these vehicles.
All right, 314-912-1019. Got some thoughts on that or anything else? Hey, get involved in the conversation. It's Friday. Get it off your chest. This is 1019 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
If you have a phone, you have a radio.
Download the all-new NewsTalk STL app.
Love the all-new NewsTalk STL app.
On my way to work in the morning.
Usually I'm in the car.
I listen on the app in my car every morning going to work.
Download the NewsTalk STL app and listen anytime, anywhere. JC's Wayback Machine.
You know that emergency broadcast system thing? This is only a test, and then the goofy sounding tone. You know that system did not go off on 9/11? What happened? Also, my day with Regis and Kelly, and 3 separate incidents involving St. Louis area police trying to arrest me. Plus great tunes from the 90s, 80s, and 70s. All brought to you by the Weber Automotive Group.
It's JC's Wayback Machine. Every Saturday night, 6 to 9. News Talk STL.
Hi, I'm Jen Wallner.
And I'm Rodney Wallner with the Wallner Home Selling Team at Berkshire Hathaway.
Hey, Rodney, how do you sell your home for top dollar?
That's easy. Call the Wallner Home Selling Team at 314-810-SOLD.
What if I want a flexible commission rate?
Call the Wallner Home Selling Team at 314-810-SOLD.
When's the best time to sell your home?
Right now. Call the Wallner Home Selling Team at 314-810-SOLD.
For all your real estate needs, call the Wallner Home Selling Team at 314-810-SOLD.
That's 314-810-SOLD.
Now you can fly anywhere in the world and pay discount prices on your airline tickets. Book a flight today to London, Paris, Madrid, or anywhere else you want to go and pay a lot less guaranteed. Call the International Travel Department right now at Low Cost Airlines.
800-515-2397. 800-515-2397. That's 800-515-2397.
Get up, St. Louis. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning.
Man, I didn't think I would say these words. 74 years old, Ace Frehley died yesterday. Yeah. He was supposed to be in concert at the Family Arena. Gosh, I think that was like this past week.
Yeah, I saw advertisements. I was actually going to check that out.
Right.
I mean, I was not the type of person that grew up with Kiss, but as I got older, I'm like, the musicianship's, I mean, as you can hear, very solid.
Yeah, and because when you were born, that was kind of that gap when Kiss wasn't a thing. They came back later. They made a big comeback in the early 2000s. But yeah, Bruce Kulick, or excuse me, not Bruce Kulick, Ace Frehley, the founding guitar member, and he did sing some of the leads, and he actually left the band because they were going more of that concept sort of 70s weird sort of direction. And he went off on his own career, and like some of the first songs he did were like hard riffs and solos, basically like, hey, Paul, Gene, here's what you're missing, go back to do that. And then he came back, and they were, back in like 90 something, 92, I think it was. But yeah, Bruce, God, why am I saying Bruce? Bruce Kulick was the guitarist in Kiss when I discovered him in the 80s.
Oh,
so Ace Frehley was the founder. But Ace Frehley was only 74 years old. He had a fall that he had taken recently, and it was really bad, obviously. And he was on life support. And so his family made the decision to pull the plug yesterday. So 74 years old, Ace Frehley. Man, I did not expect that. So you're going to hear a few clips in between the other, Rockin' 80s Flashback Friday today. But yeah, man, I tell you, we're Ricky Rocket from Poison. He put something on social media the other day, and or last night, I guess it was, and he said, go see the old guys, go see the old bands. They're not going to be around forever. And matter of fact, you were with us a couple weeks ago, when we saw, I'm not the D Snyder's super old or Lita Ford, but they're in their late 60s. And a lot of those bands, Starship is coming, not that that's a real heavy rock band, but Mickey Thomas is in his 70s, and America and Missouri and Missouri and some of those others are going to be with them, and you're not going to get a chance to see these bands very, very much. I've got a t-shirt that says I may be old, but at least I saw the cool bands. And so I've actually never worn that in public. I may have to start wearing it now.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate thing is, about time is we're finally getting to that time where the people, when I was, when you guys were younger than me, are now either going to be retiring or if they're not retiring, then it could be their last performance.
The ones who survived that era. I mean,
Yeah.
there's a lot of guys that didn't, make it just because of the lifestyle that went with, rock and metal back in the day. So yeah, man, that's we knew he was in bad shape, but I don't think we realized he was in that bad of shape.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. All right, 5:55. Okay, just a couple minutes here. Let me look at a couple things. We're going to go into more depth on both of these. Did the Cardinals step in it again on social media yesterday?
Oh,
did you see this?
Not until I saw the prep
right.
sheet,
Yeah. So what happened is several, I don't think all of the major league teams, but many, maybe most of the major league teams put out kind of a uniform tweet or social media post on all the platforms. And they did the thing where they changed their profile picture. And it was called Spirit Day, which was a partnership with GLAAD, which is a left-wing LGBT group. And they all said the same thing, which is basically we stand with LGBT youth against bullying, not just against kids and bullying, but the LGBT ones as well. And so the Cardinals took part of that as well. And of course, I kind of looked at the comments, but I knew what they were going to be on Facebook and Twitter or X and all of those. And basically they stepped in it. It just seems like an unforced error for these major league teams, especially when you look at reading the room, meaning the entire marketplace right now. And Major League Baseball is having a really fascinating postseason. So it was just kind of a dumb move, but it looks like a lot of people sort of like rolled their eyes and moved on. But, my hope is that with the new direction and leadership that they're going to go, maybe in the middle of the Midwest, this isn't the direction we need to go because not all teams are participating in this.
Yeah, ignore the 99% of people that are not LGBT that are being bullied. We're only standing with that 1%.
That one group, and GLAAD is a very left-wing activist group. So it's not like this is one of those, they're focused on a different group than we are, but but no. They're very like pro activist group. So yeah, we'll get into that a little more depth. Curious what people think about that. Also, and we got a little bit more information in the news dump that we'll talk about it. The No Kings protest thing is going to be happening again this weekend. Looks like several here in the St. Louis metro area are going to be happening. There's a couple things I get what they're, angry about. I think they're wrong, but I understand it, but they're kind of running out of stuff to protest at this point.
I just don't see any Kings around.
Yeah.
But maybe that's because of them.
Right.
Tony Colombo here for Gutter Pros and Exteriors, your all-in-one service team that brings years of experience and quality that's affordable right to your doorstep. Christine and I discovered Gutter Pros and Exteriors when we bought our home and inherited a gutter problem. And they've also repaired siding damage on our home because along with gutter repair, gutter installation, and leaf protection, the Gutter Pros team are also the best for repairing other exterior damage, including fascia, soffit, and all siding repair and installation. Learn about all the ways Gutter Pros and Exteriors can help your home or business right now at gutterpros.com.
This December 13th, join Wreaths Across America at Belle Reve Gardens Cemetery as we remember the fallen, honor those who serve, and teach our children the value of freedom. Help us lay remembrance wreaths on the graves of our fallen heroes. Sponsor a wreath, volunteer, or bring your family to this meaningful tribute to our veterans, because every hero deserves to be remembered. Learn more and sponsor a wreath. Visit NewsTalkSTL.com.
Hey there, Chris Cooper here, Serenity Wealth Management. Join us this Sunday right here on News Talk STL for Serenity Wealth Now Radio. This week featuring special guest Clint Overton of the Boardroom Bullpen. We're going to spend a little time talking about an often not talked about aspect of a company's balance sheet, and that is their people. As somebody who appreciates a good conversation with individuals, I'm really looking forward to this show. So tune in right here, News Talk STL, Sunday morning, 9 a.m., or on Serenity Wealth Now social media outlets.
Investment advice offered through Fortis Capital Advisors, LLC.
I am an atheist. I really am a liberal, but I'm also a conservative.
No matter your side,
I'm a Democrat. I'm just a bit angry, frustrated conservative.
no matter your inclination,
I'm probably a liberal, maybe more in the middle.
we're here for your place to talk about it.
I'm the progressive liberal Democrat that you said is afraid to call you. St. Louis is #1 for conservative talk. I'm sure we'll have a robust conversation.
News Talk STL.
KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Bellefonte, KNBS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at NewsTalkSTL.com.
News this hour from Town Hall. I'm Rich Thomason. President Trump says he had a very productive phone call with Russian President Putin the other day. Mr. Trump and Putin spoke as the former works to negotiate an end to Russia's war in Ukraine. And the two leaders have agreed to meet at some point in Hungary. Later today, Mr. Trump will be hosting his Ukrainian counterpart at the White House.
At a White House meeting, Ukrainian President Zelensky is expected to request approval to obtain Tomahawk cruise missiles, which could allow Ukraine to strike targets deep into Russia. Last weekend, Donald Trump said he may give the go-ahead if Moscow doesn't end its war soon. He's eager to end the conflict after brokering the Gaza war ceasefire. Greg Clugston, Washington.
A one-time Trump aide turned critic is in big trouble. He has been indicted.
John Bolton has been charged with mishandling classified documents. Now, Bolton is, of course, a former national security advisor from the first Trump administration. He's been a longtime adversary of the president since his departure from office. This investigation dates back years, but it burst into public view in August when the FBI raided his home in Bethesda, Maryland, and his office in Washington, D.C. in search of classified records. Bolton's legal team already indicated that many of the records that were found actually date back decades and reflect his longtime career in government service.
Correspondent Eric Tucker. Federal grand jury in Fort Worth has indicted two people in connection with an attack on an ICE detention center in Texas several months back. The two are allegedly Antifa members. President Trump has ordered Antifa to be classified as a domestic terrorist organization. Stock futures sharply lower this morning following a renewal of U.S.-China trade tension. Dow futures down 322 points. The NASDAQ futures are off 318 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
So my mother is thinking of switching from Verizon to Pure Talk, but she's worried the deal sounds too good to be true. Michael, she said, how can those Pure Talk people offer me the same basic service as Verizon for so much less money? I said, Ma, go ask Google how much Verizon spends on advertising and promotions. A few seconds later, my mother said, oh my goodness, $12 billion a year? That must be a typo. I'll tell you what I told my mom. It's not a typo. Verizon spends $12 billion a year on advertising and promotions, and their customers are paying for it. Well, Pure Talk doesn't spend that kind of money on commercials. Trust me, I would know. That's why they can offer you and my mother unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data on a crazy fast 5G network for just $25 a month. And if you're a business owner, you could really save a fortune. Dial pound 250, say the words Mike Rowe, and you'll get an additional 50% off your first month. That's pound 250 Mike Rowe. Pure Talk, everything you need and nothing you don't.
From the Michael's Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
Some beneficial rain on the way for Saturday, but maybe a few stronger storms, too. First, though, let's squeeze in one more dry and warm day. Partly sunny this afternoon, a high of 84. Generally quiet tonight, a relatively warm low of 67. Then tomorrow, rain and storms likely as a cold front approaches. A few severe thunderstorms possible with wind and hail are main concerns. A high of 80 tomorrow. Much cooler and breezy Sunday with a high of only 66. From the First Alert 4 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers.
This hour of News Talk STL brought to you by Chris Cooper and Serenity Wealth Management. Discover little-known strategies that could be the difference between choosing the care you deserve or having someone else decide it for you. Get a free copy of Chris's book at SerenityLTC.com.
I'm Dr. TJ, owner of the Institute of Natural Health, co-owner of Optimal Nutraceuticals, and the host of Wellness One. Wellness One is designed to cut through the nonsense and provide you common sense science-based information regarding health and wellness. On the show, we discuss topics like thyroid health, gut health, hormone optimization, and many others. Our show airs Saturdays at 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. and Sundays at 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. right here on Newstalk STL. And you can visit us at inhstl.com. That's inhstl.com.
Jamie Ullman here with the great Eric Swanson of Newstedter's Fine Jewelers, Dorothy Ferry, and Big Ben. Tell me about Wow Diamonds.
Wow Diamonds. We call them that because when people come in and look at the diamonds, everyone says, wow. We feature those in natural diamonds, the mine diamonds. They're perfectly cut, polished, and proportioned. Not all diamonds come out of the cutting process the same, and ours are perfect. That's why they're called Wow Diamonds.
Newstedter's Fine Jewelers right there at Dorothy Ferry and Big Bend, wowdiamonds.com.
News, analysis, opinion.
A man trampled a memorial for Charlie Kirk.
If you have differences, let's engage in dialogue.
I'm just going to be an independent voice.
1019 and 94.1 News Talk STL. Mike Ferguson.
I have you now, you muscle-bound oaf.
Gabe Phifer.
Feast your eyes on your new leader.
Get up! Get up! Can't you hear the alarm? Get up, St. Louis. Thundercats! Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL. Get up! Get up! This is your cousin.
All right, the No Kings thing is back this weekend.
Yeah, because we still apparently have kings that we have to tell to go away to protest and
maybe it's an inoculation against kings.
Oh, okay. So we need our anti-king booster.
Anti-king booster.
so there's not kings just hiding out in the woodwork, like
ready
sneaking
to
around
jump
corners,
out.
ready to text peasants.
Well, if you see one, there's usually a nest.
That's so true.
Of more.
That's so true. You got to put the little trap out with the sticky stuff. So
exactly.
That's right.
Kings check in, but they don't check out.
Oh man. All right. Okay. So in all candor here. So for those of you, and we know it's a lot of people on the left who listen to the show and probably seethe in anger through most of it.
We love you guys too.
314-912-1019 or send us a note saying no, you guys don't get it. Here's the point we're making. I truly want that conversation.
Please explain it to
because me. Some of the big things that the No Kings and related groups have been saying, well, they're settled at this point, and they were settled basically in your favor of what you said you wanted. So I'm just curious. I get the illegal immigration thing, but we'll get into that in just a little bit. But seriously, I want you part of the discussion. Let's just kind of relax, get a cup of coffee, and we're at the Mike Ferguson in the morning coffee clutch this morning.
Yeah.
Okay. Also, one massive federal program, federal welfare program, is on a countdown to be affected by the shutdown. And my take on that might make some people mad.
Oh boy,
I'll just say that right now. And a legendary rocker dies. Yeah, one of the OGs of the rock and the metal scene over decades. He passed away yesterday. 6:07. Let's go ahead and do news dump here.
The morning news dump.
Are you joking? Is this a joke?
Listen, folks. The morning news dump.
All right, Missouri's Attorney General doubles down on her argument that Sheriff Alfred
Loaded Dice
Montgomery must be removed from office while he deals with multiple criminal charges.
Well, he just simply can't be carrying out his duties. I mean, I know that when he was under house arrest, his team was making the argument that he could do it by Zoom. He can't do it by Zoom from a prison cell. Like he's in jail. He doesn't have access to communications. He just simply can't be doing the job.
And that is from her conversation with KMOV's David Amilati. Hanaway went on. This is interesting here. Keep an eye on this, guys. Hanaway went on to say that she questions the legality of the acting sheriff and Montgomery's attorney taking over while the criminal cases proceed against him, meaning the sheriff. And so Amilati asked her, basically, what do you make of the acting sheriff? And she said, I'm not sure that that's legal, but this is a lot of ambiguity. They're digging through the books to say who's actually supposed to be in charge right now, because the attorney, David Mason, the former judge, says with the consultation of me, we're making sure it runs. Well, the attorney's not appointed or hired to anything.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. What's the line of succession basically for the sheriff? These are all questions nobody has thought to ask because you've never needed it before.
Right.
Because sheriffs were just quietly doing their jobs prior to Mr. Loaded Dice coming in thinking he's running a Gotham.
Yeah. And David Amilati asked the attorney general, if he's removed from office, who then appoints the new sheriff? And she immediately said, well, the governor does. So the board of aldermen think that they do. And so there might be the makings of a legal conflict over that as well. So basically, Alfred Montgomery, essentially just being an egomaniac, is causing a tremendous amount of turmoil in a city that can least afford it right now. So all joking aside, this is an oversized impact on what his office actually is. Yeah. All right. Let's see here. This is interesting. Federal food assistance could be at risk in November if the government shutdown continues after the end of this month.
Funding for the Supplemental Nutritional Assistance Program, known as SNAP, will continue through October. But if the government isn't reopened by November, food assistance to 40 million low-income people could be at risk. SNAP benefits 1 in 8 people in the U.S. States are scrambling to figure out what to do if the benefits are cut off. Greg Clugston, Washington.
Okay, so 1 in 8 Americans is on what we used to call food stamps, which tells me that our welfare society is way too big. And so when they're saying, what are these people going to do for the majority of you? And this is what's going to make people mad. For the majority, I'm not saying everybody, I understand there are cases. For the majority, the answer is go get a job.
Yeah, really. I mean, look, there is no reasonable way to think that in like, granted, our economy has challenges, but it is among the freest in the world that 1 in 8 people simply cannot make enough to feed and house themselves
without government
assistance.
care of them.
That doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't jive to me.
No, exactly. So so that's going to be one that's going to be a massive political pressure, though, because once that happens, oh my gosh, this single mom of 8 kids can't feed them anymore because you shut down the government.
Or could because you became a single mom of 8
Right,
kids.
yeah,
But that's a whole other
that's a whole other thing.
that's a conversation nobody's really ready to have.
We don't talk about things like that.
Okay.
Just saying. All right,
relax.
We forgot to do dueling sound bites yesterday in the news dump.
We didn't do the dueling sound bites?
And turns out that things are exactly the same today. So let's do some dueling sound bites, Maestro, if we could. There we go. All right. Let's start with Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, who wants to reframe the shutdown.
Another week has passed, and the Trump shutdown drags on because Republicans refuse to work with or even negotiate with Democrats in a serious way to fix the healthcare crisis in America.
He wants everybody to start calling it a Trump shutdown because everybody is calling it a Schumer shutdown.
Yeah. He had to get the new name on.
Yeah.
Okay,
I don't think that one's gonna stick.
That's not gonna
I don't
stick.
think
He's not
so.
good. He's not good at that.
No, but there are calls and emails to like mainstream media saying you guys have to start saying this. So we'll see.
Yes.
All right, let's see here. Speaker Mike Johnson discussing the updated I say updated, nothing's changed, but here's what he had to say.
Chuck Schumer is actually bragging that every day gets better for his party. As you know, that is his words, not ours. All this would be laughable if it didn't come at the cost of American families.
Okay, so I think it looks to me like this really is going to drag on for a while. I think there's one Democratic senator who's like kind of like waffling and now may be feeling the heat, but I think this is going to go for quite a while.
Yeah, I mean this is I think going to challenge the record of a month of a shutdown.
Yeah,
it's going to challenge that record.
And I'm here for it because you know what? For most of us, our life isn't changing. But remember, because for a lot of people, 2 days ago was payday. For a lot of people, today is payday, being on Friday. Go look at the amount of federal taxes that were taken out of your check.
Yep. Check it out.
Just look at so that you don't get that shutdown doesn't stop them from collecting that.
Right.
Okay. So just remember, you're paying for stuff no matter what, and this is not affecting your life.
I would like to push back just a little bit because it still really, really bothers me that Congress is being paid right now. Shut down.
That's fair.
If you shut the government down, you don't get a paycheck.
I'm okay with that too. I got no issue with that.
I am entirely convinced that they are not necessary personnel. That they are not,
they are non-essential.
They are non-essential members of the government.
This is non-essential. All right. About 2,600 so-called No Kings rallies are planned tomorrow. Now, in Illinois in particular, a lot of that focus is going to be on the federal immigration enforcement activities. I believe his name is pronounced Jaime Contreras, and he is with the SEIU labor union, and he's part of the activists planning the protest around the state.
We mobilize and organize for everyone, for working families, for immigrants, for every community that's being targeted under this administration, for everyone that deserves to live and work with dignity.
Over 1,000 illegal aliens have been arrested in the Chicago area since that immigration crackdown started last month.
Here's the thing. If your community is necessarily built around doing illegal things, the government should not be friendly to you.
And legitimately illegal. There are unjust laws, but laws against illegal immigration ain't it.
That's not the exactly. I remember living in the hood, and there were communities of illegality in the area.
Yes.
Now they tended to be surrounding drugs and prostitution, things like that. You know, the trap house on the corner. that community did not feel safe when there was an increased police presence.
Imagine that.
Yeah, and I had no problem with them not feeling safe because then the rest of us could feel safe.
Exactly. All right. Now, for those of you interested in getting healthier naturally, our friends at Nutrition Stop are offering a free seminar on Tuesday. If you want to put this in your calendar, it's called Natural Remedies That Outperform Drugs. And it's going to focus on ways to deal with pain and inflammation management, hormone health, and doing it all without relying on big pharma.
I just want to point out when you said getting healthier, you immediately glanced at me and then went back to what you were doing. I get the hint, Mike. I get the hints.
He's subtle.
I sorry.
Yeah, it just shows he cares.
I sorry. All right, so this is going to happen Tuesday evening at 6:30 at Nutrition Stop on Mexico Road in St. Peters. There's no registration or anything. If you want to get that information, just show up.
Cool stuff.
Yep, they got a whole space in their store that they just save for like performances and seminars and things like that.
Little open area.
Areas they could have shelves and sell stuff, but they want to do the stuff in the community. They got a specialist and expert in that coming into the area here. Ace Frehley, one of the founders of KISS, has died. Yeah. Paul Daniel Frehley was 74 and he died due to complications of a recent fall. He played guitar and sang for KISS from 1973 through 1982. Then rejoined the band in 1996 until 2002. Frehley also had a successful solo career.
Get up, can't you hear the alarm? Get up, this is your cousin.
I think you all know that I've always felt the 9 most terrifying words in the English language are, I'm from the government and I'm here to help.
NewsTalkSTL is proud to have Doug Voss of Safe Money Radio as part of our lineup each week. Doug has been a staple on the St. Louis radio airways for many years as one of the leading financial experts in the area. You can now hear Doug and Safe Money Radio 2 times every weekend on NewsTalkSTL. But in case you miss anything, you can check it all out at DougVossSafeMoneyRadio.com. You could also reach Doug at 844-676-SAFE. That's 844-676-7233.
Doug Voss is a registered representative. Securities offered through DHL Securities, LLLP, member FINRA and SIPC.
Hungry for the best steak you'll ever have? Head to the heart of Moscow Mills and discover Harry J's, a local landmark and family-owned steakhouse, serving up excellence since '98. From mouth-watering appetizers to decadent desserts, Harry J's has something for everyone. Enjoy our extensive bar selection while soaking in our friendly family atmosphere. Whether dine-in or carry-out, your meal is prepared to perfection. Make the drive to 300 Main Street and treat yourself to a taste of Moscow Mills' finest. Harry J's, more than a steakhouse. We're a tradition.
Hi, Sean Long from STL Fenceworks. A new fence or deck is an investment in your home and your lifestyle. But how do you ensure that you're getting the most out of that investment? At STL Fenceworks, we know the key is satisfaction. Satisfaction means getting a fence or deck that not only meets your needs, but exceeds your expectations. Satisfaction means working with a team that cares about your project as much as you do. Satisfaction means having confidence in the quality of your new fence or deck, knowing that it was built with the best of materials and workmanship. STL Fenceworks, your satisfaction is our passion. And for me, satisfaction is knowing that providing for your family is how I provide for mine. Visit STLFenceworks.com and experience the satisfaction in making your backyard dreams into a reality.
This hour of Mike Ferguson in the Morning is brought to you by Stifel. Request a portfolio review from your Stifel financial advisor at Stifel.com. That's STIFEL.com. The 80s. Excellent. Never been a decade like it. Never will be. It's Flashback Friday.
Hey guys, Billy Crow here from Jeffco Patriot Radio. Hope you had enough time to freshen up your coffee because now we're back with Mike Ferguson in the morning.
I will tell you this era of AC/DC, best era. Best era.
Is this the Back in Black era?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Now don't get me wrong, Bon Scott era was fantastic too, but this sort of early mid 80s
Because after a while, it's
Mhm.
like AC/DC. You heard one song from AC/DC, you
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
heard them all.
all of 'em, yeah.
This one was the unique one here. So, all right, one of the hundreds, really over 1,000 illegal aliens arrested in Illinois wore a badge.
Wait.
Uh-huh.
Hold on. Say that again.
One of the illegal aliens arrested in Illinois wore a badge. Yep, that happened.
Okay.
All
right, Illinois, you got some explaining to do.
Yeah, this is JB Pritzker's Illinois.
Mhm.
Okay, we're going to get into when we talk about why this is close to an 80-20 issue. That's now, the combat that's happening. That's not necessarily 80-20. That's the point of the left causing the violence is to try to give people cold feet and just go, oh, it's just not worth it.
Right.
That's the tactic on there. But yeah, this is JB Pritzker's Illinois here. I'll get into that. By the way, just a quick note, real quick note here. We've got a change coming to the morning show. And now we're not in a position to spill all of the details just yet, but I can tell you that we're going to do that on Tuesday.
Right.
That's all the information is going to come out on Tuesday on that.
Big
so
news.
we're still putting it all together here. Okay. 6:21, man, I'm trying to get to lunch already. All right. You know what? You've heard this, but they're just cooking your food and landscaping your lawn.
Oh gosh.
I mean, we hear that from the
Yeah.
leftist apologists for illegal immigration. You've heard people argue that before, right?
Do you want the cost of avocados to go up?
Right. But which is kind of stereotyping and racist on their own.
Yes.
I mean, but I'm like, I have heard that and seen that argued. I'm like, you guys know, like, you're kind of being racist against the brown people, right?
Well, it's like The View said, who's going to clean your toilets?
Yeah, they did say that. That's
They
right.
Literally did say that.
Wow.
Well, the thing is, I maintain, and I think this is one of my evidences to maintain that Democrats haven't really changed since the antebellum era, because one of the arguments was, who's going to pick our cotton?
Yeah,
that was one of the arguments, guys.
Yeah,
there's like, because I think, but and I'm not saying illegal immigrants are slaves, but the Democrats seem to really love having an underclass.
They, especially one they can exploit for a variety of reasons.
For labor, political power, all of the above. They always seem to love having an underclass. And if you threaten their underclass, you threaten to take it away from them, they get really, really big mad.
So get this. Statement announcement put out by ICE yesterday. Headline: ICE arrest illegal alien serving as local police officer in suburban Chicago.
Come on, man.
That makes no sense whatsoever.
Yeah. Well, unless you say, well, it is Illinois.
It is Illinois.
Well, yeah. But
Hanover Park Police Department had authorized an illegal alien to carry a firearm in violation of federal law. So while conducting, I'm going to just read part of the announcement here, guys. From ICE, while conducting targeted enforcement operations in Rolling Meadows on October 15th, ICE Chicago arrested an illegal alien from Montenegro who was recently sworn in as a police officer in the Chicago suburb of Hanover Park. Officers assigned to Operation Midway Blitz identified Radule Bajovic as a B2 visitor visa overstay who was required to leave the country by March 31st, 2015.
Oh my gosh.
He illegally overstayed his visa by more than 10 years. And so upon arrest, Bajovic provided his employee identification card confirming that he is a police officer with the Hanover Park Police Department. Bajovic also admitted that he had no weapons on his person because he's only authorized to carry his firearm while on duty. As an alien illegally present in the United States, ICE officers immediately placed Bajovic under arrest. This is just the latest instance of Governor J.B. Pritzker's continued refusal to abide by federal laws, jeopardizing the welfare of Illinois residents.
What's the point of having an expiration on a visa if it doesn't mean anything?
Well, yeah, and it's maybe because of I guess just my age or whatever, but I'm getting a lot of like social media videos and stuff targeted at me saying retire, in this country or that country. I've seen Thailand and Costa Rica.
Oh,
and Bali and all these different areas that they're looking for Americans to become expats and go take your money and retire somewhere else. But then all these follow-up videos come, and in most of these countries, there's somebody says, okay, let me tell you how it really is.
you've got to stay on top of your visa and your permissions or else, because they're very, very strict and serious about it.
Yeah.
They're great to you if you play by the rules, whereas we say we'll be great to you no matter what up until recently.
Yeah, really. I mean, and that's kind of been the thing. Basically, every other country hasn't been allowed to enforce their immigration rules except for the United States. You know, so the thing is, Mexico is currently sending people south of the border.
They are, and man, they're brutal.
Yeah,
you think our guys are rough with the illegals? Man, look at what Mexico looked northern and went, hold my Modelo.
They sure did. I mean, because honestly, their due process is get in this car and I'm going to drive you to the border and toss you, from with the back of your pants and the front of your collar and toss you back over the border. That's basically how they've been doing it.
Yeah.
Well, and the weird, so there was the illegal superintendent of the school, which I mean,
right.
I'm not saying
who, by the way, had a gun.
Who had a gun after already having a gun charge against them. But at the same time, ignoring that part of it, it's like, okay, I can kind of maybe see. And then there was the elected official who was also illegal.
Oh yeah,
and I'm like,
that's
well,
right.
okay, maybe this is quite literally you are here legally.
Yes,
you have a gun. You have to be able to pass training and a background check to even get a hold of the gun. Because I applied to be a prison guard, and I know that cops and prison guards have similar things with that.
Yeah, that's right.
And then how does this happen? Who is sitting there signing off on these sheets saying, "Oh, it's just a federal crime. That's fine. We're the cops. It's fine. We'll just commit federal crimes."
Well, but remember, there was we covered. It was last fall, and we covered that. The Freedom Caucus of Illinois, and I think it was. I don't remember if it was Awake Illinois, but it was some of those conservative groups, and they were saying this new law literally allows illegal aliens to become police officers. And we're like, well, technically, yeah, but we're like, will it ever happen? Well, apparently it happened because he was just sworn in not too long ago.
Yeah.
So under Illinois law, which is an illegal law, what we said was going to happen happened, or what the conservative activists said was going to happen. But think about this in another sense. This is one of the reasons an overwhelming percentage of Americans want illegal immigration dealt with, because these things that we're told are never going to happen are actually happening.
Yep.
So literally, this is, somebody's going to accuse me of saying this in hyperbolic terms, but I think every word of what I'm about to say is true, guys. Correct me if I'm wrong.
All right.
Literally, a man in the country illegally was given authority to detain and arrest American citizens and even shoot American citizens in an emergency. Was anything I just said incorrect?
No. That's entirely true. Basically, the enforcement of laws inside our country was the duty of enforcing our laws was given to someone who had broken our laws and
it was actively
breaking laws and is a citizen of a foreign country. We're giving away our law enforcement to foreigners.
Yeah.
Now, could that be why they issued the stand down order to police to not assist ICE? Is because they didn't want their entire police force being deployed?
It's like, we don't want you guys interacting because just in case they check your papers, it could be a bad deal.
And there are so many suburbs of Chicago. Some of them are really affluent, really nice. Some of them are really rough. I don't know what Hanover Park is. I have no idea.
Whichever one. Yeah.
I mean, even if they have trouble recruiting, there are limits. You say you can't go do this.
Right.
It's not a great area.
Okay. Yes. Yeah. Because I know some are, Forest Park is beautiful and others not so much. Austin and some of the others not so much. So that's where we are. And here's the thing. J.B. Pritzker, who pushed this through. I mean, essentially right now, you've got the Democrats in the Illinois Assembly trying to prop up J.B. Pritzker as this successful Democratic governor. This is the kind of thing they're looking at as wins. And so this is the kind of thing, because I want to talk about this No King stuff at 6:35.
Oh, yeah.
This is one of the things they're going to be angry about is the crackdown on illegal immigration, illegal aliens. So this right here shows you that we're not the same. We're not just looking to solve the same problems, just in different ways. We have different worldviews and different ways we want the country to go, and different ways we want the country to look, and different things we want the country to be, and different things we want our culture to be. Because when you think of it in terms of, in Illinois, an illegal alien is given the authority to arrest you, an American citizen.
Right.
that should be enough to make your blood boil.
It should. And the fact that JB Pritzker can sit up there and declare his state somehow as a sovereign territory, basically immune from federal immigration law, sounds kind of like he's behaving like a king. Yeah. Speaking of the No Kings protest, by the way, several of those are planned in the metro area. They're going to be right around here. So on both sides of the river. So what are you expecting? Let's talk about that at 6:35.
And by the way, for those of you who are on the left, and I mean this very, very sincerely,
Genuinely.
this may be the only conservative product in the St. Louis metro area where we'll have the conversation with you. If you're saying you conservatives are missing the point, you guys are getting it all wrong, you're not being fair, 314-912-1019, or send us a note on social media, and you get to have your say. If you're respectful, we're respectful. If you're not respectful, we just hang up on your ass.
It's Friday. To receive. We are the dealers. We'll give you everything you need.
From the Michael's Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
Some beneficial rain on the way for Saturday, but maybe a few stronger storms too. First, though, let's squeeze in one more dry and warm day. Partly sunny this afternoon, a high of 84. Generally quiet tonight, a relatively warm low of 67. Then tomorrow, rain and storms likely as a cold front approaches. A few severe thunderstorms possible with wind and hail are main concerns. A high of 80 tomorrow. Much cooler and breezy Sunday with a high of only 66. From the First Alert 4 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers.
Now, the Free Market Minute, brought to you by the Hammond Institute for Free Enterprise at Lindenwood University.
Hi, it's Mike Ferguson from The Morning Show, and I'm here with Dr. Grant Black. And Grant, capitalism, that is increasingly under attack. But why is a free market system so important?
The simple answer, society is much better off because of free markets. Free markets allow individuals and business owners to freely choose what to consume, how to save, where to live and do business, what to produce, and how to protect our valuable resources, and so much more. And this can all happen without requiring heavy government interference. In a nutshell, free markets empower people to live their lives the way they choose. And this makes all our lives better.
The John W. Hammond Institute for Free Enterprise at Lindenwood University fosters and examines market-oriented approaches to economic and social issues. To learn more, visit hammondinstitute.org.
If you're considering an annuity as part of your retirement plan, we need to talk. Hi, I'm Bob Stockdale, Senior Vice President Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel, and host of On the Money Saturday mornings at 9 on News Talk STL 1019. Annuities can be a useful tool for some retirement investors, but not all annuities are created equal. Every week, we meet clients who own complex annuities that don't suit their needs and, in some cases, actively undermine their retirement plan. Before you purchase an annuity, get a second opinion from the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel. Requesting a consultation is free of charge. To request a free consultation, contact us at clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com, or call us at 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com or 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member NYSE and SIPC.
The Vic Porcelli Show.
Supreme Court justice decisions are going to start dropping. We'll talk to Deputy Managing Editor at RedState, Susie Moore, about that Friday at 10:05.
Weekday mornings at 9 on News Talk STL. The 80s. Bueller.
The 80s. Let's go while we're young.
Never been a decade like it.
Shall we play a game?
Never will be.
Fire on the beat.
It's Flashback Friday.
I'm the radiator grill.
Hey, this is Todd Showalter. Join me for the Right Mind Show on Saturday at 5 as I try to put some fun back into this wacky radio station. You know, and speaking of wacky, let's get back to Mike Ferguson in the morning.
Still one of those songs. It's like, you like that song? Yeah. What's it about? I don't know.
I honestly always thought the title was called Rock the Cash Bar.
No, Casbah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, what is a Casbah?
Well, that's how you pronounce it when you've had a little bit too much
That's
access
true.
to the cash
Yeah.
bar,
The
right?
cash bar, yeah.
Because you value things like the cash bar.
Now, to be fair, if you're saying cash bar with a British accent, it
Rock-
probably sounds like Casbah.
That's
Rock the Casbah.
That's right.
Rock
Oh,
the
man.
cash bar. Rock the cash bar.
Man, you went like Cockney accent on
That's
that
the one I was thinking
saying,
about.
Man.
That's what sounds like Casbah.
That's
Is when it's Cockney and it's a cash bar.
Yeah. All right. 6:35 right now. So we got the whole no kings thing. Aren't they running out of things to protest?
I think so. This seems to be like the smorgasbord of protests because they want to. Okay, it's like this. If you've had like a feast,
Right.
like every day for or every other day for a week, you're going to end up with a lot of leftovers of various kinds.
Yeah.
Right. So then that final meal, like over the weekend, is like, we can't order out. I'm not cooking anything, but just go to the refrigerator, pick whatever you feel like.
Make a Dagwood.
Make a Dagwood. Make a casserole, whatever you, or just mix your plate up. A little bit of the Italian here, a little bit of the Chinese there, a little fried chicken, and then have your mixed plate of leftovers. I think this series of protests, the No Kings protests, feels like the sort of mixed messages of all of the various other types of protests.
Obviously, we're not in the know of the internal workings of the leftist protest and stuff. But there's going to be, it looks like at least 10 or 12 in the area here. We're talking both sides of the river from Belleville.
10 or 12.
Yeah, Belleville to West County. Now you could also extend that to the greater metro area like Mount Vernon, Carbondale, and places like that as well. So generally speaking, these are going to be late morning to mid afternoon.
Okay,
basically is what we're looking at now. First of all, the weather forecast is they may run into some trouble weather wise, but media all over the country is saying they're expecting this to be bigger than the last ones.
Okay, so instead of hundreds, are we talking thousands, basically,
in the area?
Yeah.
That's what they're saying. It's interesting because more and more far left groups are joining on because they really want to make a show of this. It was funny. Eric Schmidt tweeted yesterday a graphic. He just took a graphic off one of the organizers' pages, and they had logos of every group that was co-sponsoring and part of it. And one of them was the Communist Party USA.
Of course.
Yeah. And Eric Schmidt just said, the Communist Party joins the chat room, and that's all he said. That's all he had to say.
That's all you have to say. Yeah.
And so we're looking
We're
at
not communists. We're not. So we're just one equity.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So
why the communists are joining you?
So yeah, I mean, like for instance, you're looking, the public square in Belleville, in O'Fallon on the Illinois side at City Hall, Edwardsville, Waterloo, and in the city we've got Keener Plaza. That's apparently going to be the bigger one, I guess. Here they're going to do a rally and a march and all that kind of stuff. There's a overpass protest right there over 64 at the TAM. I mean, that's where they always do it.
Yeah.
And then this is their thing, South County. They're going to Marcus Ronnie's Cinema. I don't know why they would pick them.
Why do they go there?
I don't know there. Yeah. And then West County on Manchester Road. So in Baldwin, which they like that intersection down there on Baldwin.
Yeah, that's one of their favorites.
That's the only one that I'd be like a little concerned to avoid the area, because these are the types now, even their external announcements are, we're wanting everybody to be peaceful. The one in Baldwin is the one I would like, if they're going to run across and like start sitting down in the street, that's the one they would do it.
Yeah.
But the last time there was one of these, there was also one in South County. Maybe it's the same group of people now going to the cinema, but there was the one on the overpass. And the thing is that here in the St. Louis area, they were all peaceful and they were all done right.
Yeah.
I mean, what they were saying was stupid, but what they did was right. And so
they didn't get anybody's way. They didn't cause any ruckus. They weren't
they
throwing bricks. It was fine.
Right. They didn't violate anybody's rights. They
Mhm.
just had their signs, had a bunch of flags, and they exercised their First Amendment rights.
Okay.
So if that's the way this goes, well, have at it.
Yeah, that's fine.
You may get rained on, but do your thing.
Mhm.
Go ahead. That's the good thing about living in this country that you can't stand. is that you get to do this.
Yeah. Now, of course, they also get to do it because apparently they don't have freaking jobs, because we're talking about something that's going on a weekday, right?
Oh, no,
or I'm
Saturday.
sorry.
Yeah.
You're right. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. It's on Saturday.
Yeah.
But who's going to be running those shifts at Starbucks?
Right. Yeah.
I mean, honestly, it's like you have coffee to pour, sir.
Yeah. Yeah. So here's the thing. What are they worked? I mean, the last time, one of the big issues, was the Free Palestine nonsense. Well, that's settled, and frankly, it was settled in Palestine's favor more than anything else. Because the war stopped and they were losing.
Right.
So illegal immigration is going to be part of it, but this is an incredibly unpopular position on their side.
Oh, totally.
I guess they could argue about the government shutdown, maybe, but that's the majority of people, according to recent surveys, even by mainstream media, say that they blame Democrats for that.
Yes, they do.
Okay, so what?
And that's even if they care.
Yeah, what are they? What's the hissy fit about?
Yeah, like I said, I think this is the smorgasbord. They have a lot of pent up energy.
Yeah.
They like, I'm still frustrated about this thing.
Right.
So they're gonna go and they're gonna protest whatever it is they feel very passionate about. Maybe it's trans youths, the trans youths out there. Maybe it's I don't know, abortion or something.
Yeah, that could be
that could be one of the things. Maybe redistricting. I know. Remember they were
on the Missouri side.
Yeah, on the Missouri side, they're maybe protesting redistricting.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I mean, basically, this is the Orange Man Bad protest.
Yes,
is what we're talking about.
Yes.
Which, ironically, if he was behaving like a king, these protests wouldn't be happening.
You're right.
Yeah, and the thing is, listen, I am a critic of the fact that the Trump administration doing a lot of things right. There's a lot of things I disagree with. I do think that they are exceeding their constitutional authority on a lot of areas. Does that mean I think he's a king? No. I do think he's trying to take too much power for the executive. But in this case right here, I'm just still trying to figure out what is it you're complaining about? I mean, what is it that you're listen, you got the right to complain. I will defend your right to complain.
Oh, sure. Absolutely.
You have a right to grieve against the government.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm glad we have that right. And if they do it the way they did it last time, you know what? Have at it. Again, more power to you. Whatever. I got other things to do myself, but whatever.
I mean, kind of like what Gabe was saying. I imagine these people spend way too much time inside of their house, so they're probably vitamin D deficient. So getting out in the sunlight, get some of the vitamin D, getting out, so get some fresh air might actually do them some good. Allison also wants to note that she's pretty confident Trump will still be president on Sunday.
I'm pretty sure.
So
I think odds are Allison's right about that.
and so like the idea of the smorgasbord protest, I can understand is like, we're going to reinforce and send a message, but this is the same message you keep sending over and over again with no clearly defined like what the outcome of the protest is supposed to be.
Right.
Yeah, and that's been my problem with protest culture to begin with since the 60s era. Because at the very least during the civil rights era, they were promoting pretty much a specific set of goals that were reflected in a law,
the Voting Rights Act, or the Civil Rights
Act, right? So it was there was a certain set of goals, there were a certain set of outcomes that they were specifically protesting in favor of. It was a particular problem they were highlighting that was definitely not in front of the faces of much of America.
Right.
Much of America was not aware of the consequences of segregation.
Because we're talking the ramifications of Jim Crow.
Right. I mean, yeah, exactly. So then they were like, oh, wait a minute, these are good Christian folks and they're being put upon.
You know what? I think the most powerful protest sign in that era was simply said, I am a man.
Yes, exactly.
Probably the most powerful, because that forced Americans all over the country to go,
well, yeah. So treat them like one, right?
Right.
And that's the concept. So that era of protests seemed to have a point, and it was successful. Since then, a lot of these protests have been very generic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just like, you know what I'm mad about, and then fill in the blank.
Yeah.
Current thing.
You know what? We talked a little bit right before the show. I think it was Jerome's idea. We should get in on this.
Okay. Yep.
And so let's ask the question, guys. Would people join us if we had a protest against nothing but a protest against protest,
Yes.
like a down with protest, and invite like some left-wing groups to join us and just mock these protests, like have signs that are like, you know, protesters against protesting,
right,
or something like that, and
Yes.
just like act like we're really taking a strong stand on something, and see how many thumbs up and horns and verse. I mean, who's in? Who's
no,
in?
No more signs.
That's right. No more signs
on a big sign.
This is not a protest. This is not a
Yeah. I think we can make that work.
All
And
right.
I want to know how many people want to join us.
If who's in? Who's in? Raise of hands on social media. Raise of hands. Let us know.
And perhaps while we're doing our not a protest, totally not protest group, we can listen to some Stand and Fight over the weekend with Senator Nick Schroer. I hear he actually has a pretty cool new song that really inspires that sense of hardcoreness and patriotism. And if you haven't heard it, you should go listen to when we had him on last time, because we played a little snippet for you. But that happens every Sunday evening at 6. So this week's program will feature the debut of that theme song I was talking about. And he's going to play it with all its metal goodness, featuring Tim Jones' voice in full.
Yeah, that's a lot of people didn't realize is that's an AI version of Tim's voice.
That's so cool.
That's so.
Mike Ferguson in the morning.
My opinion is it's weird.
On News Talk STL.
Soon as the sheriff made the swear, they began to wait. Sheriff, you don't like it.
The Democrat Party is going to have to go back toward the center.
News, analysis, and opinion.
I've never called a talk show before, but this just irked me.
1019 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
Want to hear the best kept secret in St. Louis? Steph's Pizza. We're not afraid to compare squares. According to our customers, we have the best St. Louis style pizza anywhere, and we can't disagree. Dine in, pick up, or delivery in St. Peters, St. Charles, Lake St. Louis on Pond Fort Trail, and the original Stephanitas in O'Fallon on Veterans Memorial Parkway. Check us out at Steph'sPizza.com. Steph's Pizza. We're not afraid to compare squares.
SR1 Sundays.
Hi, this is Elizabeth Kaiser. Be sure and check out my show, Straight Lines, this and every Sunday at 8 p.m., right after Stand and Fight, part of SR1 Sundays. Let's meet right here and let's peel back some layers of this crazy world, and you might be surprised at what we find. Straight Lines with Elizabeth Kaiser on SR1 Sundays at 8 p.m., right here on 1019 94.1 News Talk STL.
Straight Lines with Elizabeth Kaiser on News Talk STL.
Hi, Kirk Hilsinger here, and I'm the new chairman of the St. Louis Republican Central Committee. I invite you to our meetings that take place the first Thursday of every month at 3710 Hampton Avenue. You can stay connected with us to learn more about how you can get involved, make your voice heard, and contribute to our shared goals. Together, we can make a difference in the city of St. Louis and the state of Missouri. For more info, visit our new website at stl-gop.com. That's stl-gop.com.
Paid for by St. Louis City Republican PAC. Curtis Farber, Treasurer.
Still waking up like you fought a bear in your sleep? Yeah, let's fix that. This Labor Day, starting September 5th, save up to $725 on top brands like Tempur-Pedic, Serta, and Beautyrest. Only at Snooze Mattress Company in Chesterfield Valley. Here's the real game changer, Dream Mapping. We scan your pressure points and match you to the perfect mattress. No guesswork, just real comfort, personalized for you. Plus, 0% easy financing and local no-pressure service. Get in here, because if you don't snooze, you lose.
This hour of Mike Ferguson in the morning is brought to you by Stifel. Request a portfolio review from your Stifel financial advisor at stifel.com. That's STIFEL.com. Love the music you hear on the morning show? Check out Mike's morning music playlist at newstalkstl.com.
I'd have been mad at y'all if you didn't pick this one. Just saying, how do you
seriously.
not do that?
Mhm.
All right. Okay. Let's see here. One massive federal welfare program is on the countdown to be affected by the shutdown.
Also, the attorney general not only doubling down on saying the sheriff's got to go, but saying, I'm not sure that the right person's in charge now.
Yeah.
In his absence.
Mm-hmm.
And a legendary rock icon passes away. That's a little redundant, but we're talking about Kiss. That's what we're talking about here. All right, 6:49 right now. Let's dump some news on you. Let's dump some news on you.
Are you joking? Is this a joke? Listen, folks, the morning news dump.
Soros the gremlin. Darn you.
We need like a shotgun sound effect for when we catch
When
him.
we
The
catch
racket.
him. Oh, then Pete is going to be mad. Okay. Missouri's attorney general doubling down on her argument that Sheriff Alfred Loaded Dice Montgomery must be removed from office while he deals with multiple criminal charges.
Well, he just simply can't be carrying out his duties. I mean, I know that when he was under house arrest, his team was making the argument that he could do it by Zoom. He can't do it by Zoom from a prison cell. Like he's in jail. He doesn't have access to communications. He just simply can't be doing the job.
All right. That is from her conversation with KMOV's David Amilati. Can I also point out that we're just now at the point where we're casually talking about, when the sheriff was on house arrest.
Remember then?
Remember
when it was just house
as
arrest?
though that's the normal chain of events. And,
Oh my gosh.
So, but here's what's interesting, and look for this to possibly become a thing in the next couple of weeks. Hanaway went on in that discussion with David Amilati. She went on to say that she questions the legality of the acting sheriff and Montgomery's attorney taking over while the criminal cases proceed. So she stopped short of saying he's not the legitimate acting or interim, but she did say we're not sure that that's actually how it's supposed to work.
Yeah, because as best as I could tell, the interim was just essentially appointed by somebody.
He's the next guy in charge. I mean,
He's the
colonel,
next level guy in charge. So,
right.
So the presumption, I suppose,
Chain of
is
command.
the chain of command within the sheriff's department would take over, and therefore now he is the acting sheriff. Except the top sheriff spot is an elected official position,
And he's still the sheriff.
And he's still technically the sheriff.
Right,
So okay, so how does it work?
We don't know.
Right.
That's the whole point.
Right.
Is we don't know.
And I think they're scrubbing through the laws to see.
Yeah,
at this
exactly. All right. Federal food assistance could be at risk in November if the government shutdown is not over by then.
Funding for the Supplemental Nutritional Assistance Program, known as SNAP, will continue through October. But if the government isn't reopened by November, food assistance to 40 million low-income people could be at risk. SNAP benefits 1 in 8 people in the U.S. States are scrambling to figure out what to do if the benefits are cut off. Greg Clugston, Washington.
Again, this is an opportunity to look at the much bigger picture here. And that is 1 in 8 Americans is on food stamps or SNAP. That tells us we have a massive welfare society, welfare system, and that is not compatible with a free society. So we have got to find ways to unload this onto the private sector where people are incentivized to become self-sufficient. This is shining the light on 1 in 8 Americans.
That's crazy.
That means, listen, there are outlier things. I'm not saying everybody, but for a lot of you, go get a job. That's the solution.
Honestly,
states are wondering what to do. Go get a job.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, no, granted, I will submit that the cost of living has kind of gone crazy, and maybe that has pushed a good number of people who otherwise would have been okay out of the running, essentially. Because I remember when I was on the razor edge of poverty, essentially, and a little bit of a price change would have pushed me over. But 1 in 8 doesn't make sense, even in a bad economy in America.
I have had many times over the years where I couldn't keep up with the bills.
Sure.
I mean, I've been there.
Yeah.
I've been there. If you fight hard enough in this country, as long as we have a little bit left of the free market, you can do it. We're abandoning the free market, and the purpose of abandoning the free market is to create dependency. 1 in 8 Americans on food stamps says that those who want to create dependency on government are succeeding, and it's at the cost of the people who are pushed into dependency.
Just based on the numbers, it should be 1 in 100.
Yeah.
It should be about 10% of America who are at the
well, that's 1%.
I'm sorry. Yeah, that 1%. It should be about 1% of America who are so far down the line that they need government assistance. Otherwise, there's something wrong with your economy, and there's something wrong with your welfare state.
And we've got to get this back to like
nonprofit charitable work, particularly faith-based. But they're taking hands off because government's doing it.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. You know what? I don't want to do the dueling soundbite. let me just let me just like
summarize
paraphrase. Let me summarize here. Democrats point finger at Republicans saying they're mean old duty heads, and Republicans point their finger at Democrats saying they're mean old duty heads.
Yeah. Yeah,
We're
that's pretty
done.
much. That's it.
That's it. All right.
The merry-go-round goes around.
Okay. All right. About 2,600 No Kings rallies are planned tomorrow around the country. Now, on the Illinois side here, the Illinois protests are likely going to focus, at least in part, on federal immigration enforcement actions. Jaime Contreras is with the labor union SEIU, and he's part of the activists who are planning the protest.
We mobilize and organize for everyone, for working families, for immigrants, for every community that's being targeted under this administration, for everyone that deserves to live and work with dignity.
Over 1,000 illegal aliens, including one police officer, have been arrested in the Chicago area since the immigration crackdown started last month. Okay, a couple other things I want to sneak in here. For those of you interested in getting healthier naturally, our friends at Nutrition Stop are offering a free seminar on Tuesday. This is called Natural Remedies That Outperform Drugs, and it's going to focus on ways to deal with pain and inflammation management, to hormone health, and doing it all without relying on big pharma. They've got a specialist coming in, a doctor coming in. That happens Tuesday evening at 6:30 at Nutrition Stop on Mexico Road in St. Peters. It's free. There's no registration required, anything like that. So if you want to learn more, just go to Nutrition Stop's website, and you can bring your own questions and make up your own mind, decide for yourself. All right. Ace Frehley, one of the founders of KISS, has died. Yeah. Paul Daniel Frehley was 74 and died because of complications of a recent fall. He was actually supposed to be in concert at the Family Arena. I want to say that was this past weekend. I think he was supposed to be there. And he played guitar and he sang for KISS from 1973 through 1982, including Yep, and then he left the band in 82, rejoined the band in 1996 until 2002. Frehley also had a successful solo career as well. Man, only 74.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah, all right. Dodgers are one game away from going back to the World Series, and the Blue Jays fight back to tie up the American League Championship Series. Dodgers now lead the Brewers 3-0 in the National League. They're going to try for the sweep and for a ticket to the World Series in tonight's Game 5. That starts at 7:38. The Blue Jays got an 8-2 win in Seattle Thursday night. That brings the ALCS to a 2-2 tie because it was 2-0.
Oh, yeah.
And the Blue Jays have won 2 in a row.
Coming back.
Yeah, Game 5 is this afternoon at 5:08. Either way, they're guaranteed to have to go to Game 6. And the Blues are at home again this weekend. They host the Stars on Saturday evening. That is a 6 p.m. puck drop, and that's obviously happening at Enterprise Blues app. You can watch it, and on FanDuel. You can watch that as well. So a lot of sports happening as well. But yeah, we're going to have a couple different samples of Ace Frehley.
Mm-hmm.
Because he was in that classic original lineup. He was a co-founder of the band. Man, go see the old guys at concert while you still can. Do you regret going to see the old guys with us?
Oh, no.
No, that was good stuff, man. No.
Connor Roofing. You can count on Connor. Connor Roofing is now a 2-time winner of the National Best of the Best Award for customer satisfaction for roofing, storm damage restoration, siding, gutters, both residential and commercial. Please visit ConnorRoofing.com for an estimate. And remember, you can count on Connor.
This is Elizabeth Kaiser. If you're a self-insured employer with a minimum of 200 plan members, listen up, because we've only got until December 31st. There's $600 billion on the table for you from a historic settlement agreement. Meet Bill Schmaltz.
Thank you, Elizabeth. The program's called Pharmaceutical Industry Overcharging Recovery Program. The money is available. It's already been litigated. You just need to ask for it. I'm going to help you get that money, and I'm going to give you a couple of examples. 200 members on the plan, $840K, 500 members, $2.1 million, $4.2 million with 1,000, and it keeps going up. You can contact me at bill@ecgins.com. The more people you have on your plan, the more recovery money you're entitled to. The money's there. There's nothing you have to do other than fill out paperwork, contact me, bill@ecgins.com, and we'll help you get that. bill@ecgins.com.
That's Bill at ecgins.com.
Hey, St. Louis golfers, looking for a new golfing experience? Sugar Creek Golf Course was voted the most popular golf course in St. Louis. Book your tee time today at sugarcreekgolfcourse.com and join the fastest growing golf community in town, sugarcreekgolfcourse.com.
News, analysis, and opinion.
One of the great days ever in civilization. Abraham Accords. I like to say it that way.
Abraham is fine. Abraham, however you want to call it.
If you don't get away from this green scam, your country is going to fail. And I'm really good at predicting things. I've been right about everything.
If you want a Democrat that's going to call people Nazis or fascists, well, I'm not going to be that guy. I'm just going to be an independent voice.
101.9 and 94.1.
St. Louis's #1 for conservative talk.
News Talk STL. KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Belfast, KNBS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 101.9, 94.1, and always streaming at NewsTalkSTL.com.
Breaking news this hour from Town Hall. I'm Rich Thomason. One-time Trump National Security Advisor John Bolton, an outspoken Trump critic, he had plenty to say about classified documents at Mar-a-Lago, has been indicted for allegedly mishandling classified documents.
He's charged with storing top-secret records at home and sharing with relatives diary-like notes about his time in government that contained classified information. The 18-count indictment suggests that information was exposed when Iranian operatives hacked Bolton's email account in 2021. During Bolton's brief tenure in the Trump administration, he had disputes with the president over North Korea, Iran, and Ukraine, ultimately leading to his departure. Bolton denies the charges, saying they're part of an effort by the president to intimidate his opponents. Ben Thomas, Washington.
President Trump and Russia's Vladimir Putin spent more than 2 hours on the phone yesterday. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt says her boss, trying hard to end the war in Ukraine, came away encouraged.
The president feels like great progress was made on this call. They also agreed to have a high-level senior staff meeting convened as early as next week, which will then be followed by a meeting very likely between President Trump and President Putin as well. They talked about Budapest as being a location for that.
Later today, Mr. Trump meets with Ukrainian President Zelensky at the White House. It is expected that Zelensky will make a pitch for American Tomahawk missiles capable of hitting targets deep inside Russia. And Putin warns that supplying those weapons would harm U.S.-Russia relations. Meta giving parents more of a say in their kids' interactions with AI chatbots. New parental controls include the ability to turn off one-on-one chats with AI characters altogether. Watching Wall Street this morning, the Dow futures down 44 points. NASDAQ futures are off 122. More on these stories, townhall.com.
Think about this. Everything precious in the Christian faith came straight through Israel. The promises God made to Abraham, the covenants he established, the law that shows us his character, the prophets who spoke his words, the gospel that transformed the world, all of it, every bit of it came through Israel. In standing with Israel, we celebrate our shared roots and the enduring legacy of God's work through his chosen people. As Christians, we owe an immense debt of gratitude to the Jewish people for their role in preserving and passing down these sacred truths. Through their faithfulness, often in the face of great adversity, they've been instrumental in bringing the knowledge of God to the world. When I support the International Fellowship of Christians and Jews, I'm not just helping people in need. I'm honoring those who gave our spiritual foundation. I'm saying thank you to the people who preserved God's word for all of us. Discover the top reasons why Christians all over the world support Israel by visiting ifcj.org. That's
from the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
Some beneficial rain on the way for Saturday, but maybe a few stronger storms, too. First, though, let's squeeze in one more dry and warm day. Partly sunny this afternoon, a high of 84. Generally quiet tonight, a relatively warm low of 67. Then tomorrow, rain and storms likely as a cold front approaches. A few severe thunderstorms possible with wind and hail are main concerns. A high of 80 tomorrow. Much cooler and breezy Sunday with a high of only 66. From the First Alert 4 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers.
This hour of News Talk STL is brought to you by Rodney and Jen Wallner and the entire Wallner home selling team at Berkshire Hathaway. Call them today at 314-810-SOLD. 314-810-SOLD.
Hey, Tony Colombo here with Tim Jones for our friends Rodney and Jen Wallner, the Wallner home selling team at Berkshire Hathaway, the #1 home selling team in the St. Louis area. And I can say that from firsthand experience. My wife and I were blown away from the results that we saw from working with Rodney and Jen, from selling our old home faster and for more money than we thought possible to finding our family's perfect new home. They over-delivered every step of the way. And right now, it's still very much a seller's market. So, Tim, for folks that have been thinking about selling their home, it's a perfect time to call the Wallners.
That's right, Tony. And don't forget, they're licensed in both Missouri and Illinois. So no matter where you are in the metro area, you can put St. Louis's #1 home selling team to work for you. The Wallners' experience and work ethic, second to none. And of course, the numbers speak for themselves. The Wallners sell 15 times more homes per year than the typical realtor. Right now, they're working with so many qualified buyers, they'll guarantee to obtain you an offer. If you've been thinking about selling your home, don't wait. Call the Wallners now at 314-810-SOLD. That's 314-810-SOLD for the Wallner home selling team.
Mike Ferguson.
I don't know how to put this, but I'm kind of a big deal.
Gabe Phifer.
It's the sugar honey iced tea, baby.
Get up, can't you hear the alarm?
Get up, St. Louis.
So it's time to get out of bed. Pour yourself the greatest cup of Kofifi the world has ever seen. Rise up with one voice, drain the swamp, and take back our country. Today's the day we're going to do it, and it's time to do it right now, believe me.
Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
Get up, this is your cousin.
Had somebody ready to start a big debate, big argument, big fight on Rumble. PMS 3105, he says, when each member of KISS released a solo album, there was a time that you may not know this, seriously, that like all of them decided to go do a solo album in a break. But yeah, he says Aces was by far the best.
Oh,
all right, old rockers.
For some people, them fighting words.
That's right. That's right. I might, I'm telling you, wheel yourselves at each other and then have it.
All right, KISS Army, let's know what you think.
Find out what you think. I actually think he's right about that.
Okay, well, there you go.
Ace Frehley was, I think, actually an underrated member of KISS. But I discovered KISS in the Bruce Kulick era.
Okay.
In the 80s when they kind of had this resurrection, they were unmasked and they took the paint off and some great songs in there. But Ace Frehley was really, people respect him, but he was also, they forget he was an OG along with Paul Stanley and Gene Simmons.
Right.
On that. So he's actually not the first member of KISS to die.
Really?
Yeah. I guess Eric Singer had a congenital heart condition. And he was on a couple of albums. I think somebody correct me on how many albums he drummed on, but he just had a congenital heart thing and his time ran out. And so he actually had passed before that, but he was nowhere near the first iteration.
Yeah.
All right. 706 going on 707 right now. Okay. So peace, at least for now, comes to the Mideast.
Yep.
The sheriff, at least for now, is in the slammer. And we have some left-wing protests planned across the country because Orange Man bad.
Yes,
yeah, precisely.
absolutely.
We're joined now by Susie Moore from RedState. Let's try to make some sense of all of this, Susie. Let's recap as we're heading into the weekend here. Let's start with, it seems like a lifetime ago, but that all just wrapped up early this week, the completion of the return of the Israeli hostages in exchange for about 1,900 terrorists, but the hostilities stop. And at least for now, the war is not on in the Middle East. That is such a literally world-changing event that happened this week.
Yeah, and it's already like in the rearview mirror. I mean, it's like, oh, it's 4 days later. We're on to other things. It is pretty amazing. First of all, that the 20 living hostages were returned. Obviously, the return of the deceased hostages is still kind of a little up in the air. Some bodies have been returned. There are some that they're saying they can't locate. There's some question about whether one of the bodies they returned really actually was an Israeli. So that part of it, because there were 28 deceased hostages that were still supposed to be returned as well. But in terms of the actual hostilities, yeah, it's amazing that's been gone or been quiet. Where it hasn't been quiet is amongst Hamas and the Palestinians themselves, because they've been going after people that I think they thought were collaborating with the Israelis or in some way helped, and executing them publicly, which President Trump has been very outspoken about what will happen next if they don't stop that.
Morning, Susie. Gabe here. So, what do you think is next for that region? Is it basically going to go back to the status quo of Gaza under the control of Hamas? They're going to attempt to rebuild, probably not infrastructure, but probably more tunnels. You know what I mean? And then we hit this cycle again in 10 years.
Well, I don't think it is. I mean, under the deal that was signed, it's not. So if that's what they think they're going to do, I think they're going to be in for a rude awakening. I don't think that the U.S. or Israel or even the other partners in the region that signed on to the deal are going to be like, oh, okay, well, they're just being themselves again. I don't think that's what's going to happen. Now, how they're going to actually affect Hamas turning over giving up their weapons and basically ceding authority of the area to somebody else, I don't know. That may be very dicey, but that's the deal.
Yeah, we're visiting with Susie Moore from RedState.com. Let's talk about something local here. The sheriff. Now he's locked up. You were filling in for Gabe the other day when all of this went down. I thought one thing that the Attorney General said when she was doing an interview with Channel 4 yesterday, and she didn't go into deep detail, but she actually questioned, hey, I'm not even sure that we know what the right chain of authority is the guy who's been named acting sheriff or interim sheriff, who named him, and is that even legal? She said, I'm not sure that, a colonel and their lawyer actually have the legal authority. Now, she said, I'm not sure. She wasn't, because this is kind of uncharted territory when it comes to the city charter versus how does the state handle it versus that. So this could end up being so much more confusing and dramatic than even what is happening right now.
It really could. I mean, it as much as we've had issues in the past few years of some of our law enforcement and elected leaders having to be removed, nudged out, yanked out of office. This one is a new one. And I know that I saw some comment, they went to Vernon Betts and said, hey, would you be willing to come back? And he was like, I guess. I mean, I hadn't really thought about it. But yeah, I don't know. It is one of those things that maybe no one ever really took a look to see if it's spelled out specifically in the charter or in the regulations. And I don't know what comes next. I did, when they said that, Montgomery was going to jail, I was like, well, I think that makes sense given what he's accused of doing. But it is kind of amazing to me that he's refusing to resign.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Hey, Susie, I wanted to get your take on this whole debacle with the young Republicans, right? Because, we saw the unmasking of some of their private chats that turned out to be pretty vile stuff, honestly. A little beyond the pale of what we would consider acceptable dark humor, there's been a lot of infighting apparently on the right as to how we should be responding to this. I think it's typified by, at least in my feed, by the thread under Camelia Peterson's comment on this, where a whole bunch of people came out of the woodwork saying, hey, basically we should not have any enemies on the right. Don't criticize the right while the left is still out here calling for our death or what have you.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and Matt Walsh has taken that position, and Camelia just she's still getting beat up on social media over this. And that's the two camps on this. And the vice president, I think, went on whatever podcast he was on and said something that was just really dumb. I was like, oh, these are just kids and boys. These were 40-year-olds, 30 and 40-year-olds who were saying this. And this isn't, like Gabe said, dark humor. We're talking outright anti-Semitism, outright just brutal racism. I mean, this isn't, don't be so woke snowflake. This was really, really beyond the pale.
Yeah, it was nasty stuff. And it is what really trips me up is, okay, maybe they're young in terms of younger than me, but was there no thought to the fact that they were communicating with a number of people in a format that could then be come back to bite them? I mean, that to me shows, in addition to being, having nasty thoughts and senses of humor, shows a extraordinary lack of, I don't know, foresight or it's just very, very poor judgment, let's say. I think for me, it's very easy to look at these and go, well, this is horrific. And yes, there should be consequences. You don't talk like that. That's not acceptable. And if someone doesn't want them as part of their organization or working for them when that comes to light, I get it. I also understand the pushback in a sense of, hey, look, you've got people who are running for office that are calling to kill a man and his children. You've got all this ugliness that came out after Charlie Kirk was assassinated, with people openly celebrating it on social media. So why don't you take the mote out of your own eye before you, or the log out of your own eye before you come after us? And I understand that sentiment. I kind of am one of those people that like embraces the power of and.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not either or.
Yeah. Condemn the YRs that participated in this. It's terrible. Now you condemn you guys too.
Right.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the thing is that the whole point of us saying you're not calling out your fringe, you're not doing something about it. Well, we have the chance to do exactly what we've been complaining that they aren't doing.
Right.
So we have the chance to do the right thing. And I'll be really honest about it. I've been really discouraged by the reaction on so many people on the right to this. I mean,
same.
You at some point we have to say, we're going to be better at this. What are we conserving? So I've said my piece on it. I think like what Camellia said was right. I think what Matt Walsh and the vice president said was wrong. And I think that we should absolutely be doing that while we still demand the other side do the same kind of accountability.
Yeah. Now,
I said that was all I was going to say, but that's all I'm going to say.
Now let's go back to beating up on the left, because they have stupid things like the No Kings protests that are coming through here. And what do you have a better idea of what they're actually protesting than we do? Because we've been asking somebody on the left to kind of tell us what they're mad about right now, and it just seems to be like everything.
Well, Donald Trump.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
It's anything having to do with him, associated with him having a whiff of being of the right, because Donald Trump is the president and because he's implementing policies that he said he was going to implement, and they don't like it.
Right. I mean, at some point, I'm halfway expecting some protester to say Donald Trump is taking away oxygen that an illegal alien could have. We're like, you mean he's breathing? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's oxygen that could have gone to the illegal alien who's being detained by ICE unjustly.
Well, I kind of just want to, I mean, it's like, I almost feel like I have this vision of like a tug of war, and they're dug in like no kings, and we just set down the rope. Okay.
And they all fall down. That would be hilarious.
It would.
I mean, who's calling for kings? Who's calling for kings?
Susie, a little bit earlier, we were thinking, would people join us if we decided to just get in on the protest action and protest against all protest and have signs that say like no more signs, and just like, down with protests, and
right.
And just to maybe even get like some far leftists to join us, because we take no position on anything except we want to make people make it known through our protest that we're against protest.
Why do you want to censor people and do away with the First Amendment?
No more pointless protest. No more pointless protest.
Except for this one.
What do we want?
No protests.
When do we want it?
Whenever.
Yeah.
It's like the Seinfeld of protests, a protest about nothing.
That's right. All right, Susie, what's going to be hot on RedState today?
I don't know. I haven't even looked yet.
Fair enough. I respect that answer, to be real honest.
Yeah. Yep. It is early.
It's the truth.
All right, Susie, more for RedState. We'll talk to you again soon, Susie.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Susie. Now, did the Cardinals make an unforced error by doing the woke thing? We've been talking about the culture war and things like that. Have they stepped in it again? You tell us at 7:20.
It's Friday. Right now, before you blow us all away.
On the next Larry Connors USA.
I remind you, with Larry Connors USA, you always get news, analysis, opinion, and education.
Larry Connor's USA. Now, weeknights 6 until 8 on News Talk STL.
Why are you going to work? It's Sunday.
It's a brand new show on News Talk STL. JC's Sunday Showgram.
I'll tell you what it was like backstage at the filming of the Chuck Berry movie, Hail, Hail, Rock and Roll, back in '86. And how come all these guys on radio and TV that call themselves Cardinal Insiders didn't have the real Mike Schultz story until this week? Oh, brought to you by the Weber Automotive Group.
Sunday morning, 7 to 9. Then podcast each Monday on NewsTalkSTL.com.
Basement with a Y. That's Basement E.
It's Basement T.
Basement E?
It's Basement T.
Oh, Basement T. Basement T. I get it. That's the basement waterproofing and foundation repair experts at Woods Basement Systems.
Right. The All Things Basement Tea experts at Woods Basement Systems will provide you a free estimate and dry out that wet basement and fix that cracked foundation. Call 800-388-9326 or go online to woodsbasementsystems.com.
That's woodsbasementsystems.com.
Attention off-road enthusiasts. Iron Bear Customs has the strongest bumpers on the planet. Plus, brush guards, lift kits, and custom cages for all vehicles. Visit ironbearcustoms.com and mention News Talk STL for 10% off. Iron Bear Customs, built tough for the toughest terrain.
Discover Patriot Powder Coating, your family-owned specialist in Pacific. From small jobs to big projects, we got you covered. Visit our showroom or call 636-551-0377. Mention News Talk STL for 10% off.
Remember those magical moments in Mom's kitchen? The heavenly aroma of fresh baked cookies? At Trolley Stop Bakery in Chesterfield's Forum Shopping Center, our co-op of talented bakers has been perfecting that homemade magic for 4 decades. From the gooeyest cookies in town to custom pies, cobblers, and cakes, everything's made from scratch, just like Mom and Grandma's recipes. Need that perfect corporate gift? We ship our famous cookies nationwide. The Trolley Stop Bakery, 67 Forum Shopping Center, or TrolleyStopBakery.com. Because some traditions are too sweet not to share.
If you have a phone, you have a radio. Download the all-new News Talk STL app.
Love the all-new app.
And listen anytime, anywhere. The 80s. Never been a decade like it. Never will be. It's Flashback Friday.
Rock you like a hurricane. Here I am. Rock you like a hurricane.
Hey everyone, this is State Senator Nick Schroer. I am the host of Stand and Fight every Sunday night. Right now, let's hear more of Mike Ferguson in the Morning Show here on News Talk STL.
All right. We were frustrated by some errors on the field this year.
Yeah.
Now, they didn't really have a horrible defensive year with the Cardinals. There was really a lack of batting and run scoring and some weak pitching. But, defense wasn't. It was average-ish.
Yeah, I mean they were trying real hard. We got to give it to them that they were trying real hard.
Season. They were
on the field.
Yeah, but there were still some. There's some shortcomings there. Yeah, exactly. So, but what about an off the field error?
Mm-hmm.
Did that happen? So the St. Louis Cardinals, and I clicked on their Twitter right now, and they still have this up. Okay, so they decided, along with, I suspect, the majority of MLB teams, because they all posted it about the same time. The Kansas City Royals did it about the same time. There's one or two major league teams that are kind of known for not doing this, like the Texas Rangers.
Right.
But they changed their profile picture,
and
it says "Stand Against Bullying, Spirit Day."
Okay.
So
well, that seems generic enough. I mean, just on its face,
but it's not.
Yeah.
So the line that the post that they had, the St. Louis Cardinals are proud to join MLB in celebration of #Spirit Day and standing in support of LGBTQ youth and against bullying.
Oh gosh, here we go.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Okay.
Yep. Oh, I get it now.
So they've decided to go ahead and do the woke thing. And I suspect there was probably some pressure from MLB to do it.
Oh, it had to be.
Yeah. So here's the quick, because like I said, the exact same wording is what the Kansas City Royals posted at the same time. The Kansas City Royals, by the way, that's being, the state's trying to give them, $800 million to build a stadium. Anyway. So they're not just standing up against bullying. Like you said, if they said, we're going to take a stand, against bullying for kids and then left it at that.
Now, even then, I'm still a little agnostic on bullying right now, but I digress. Go ahead.
Right. But here's the thing: is the whole thing, and they put a link to the website, is partnering with GLAAD, which is a
GLAAD is terrible,
very left wing.
That is a terrible organization.
Yeah, pro LGBT, very left wing. I mean,
I think they're pro groomer.
They
honestly,
really,
like when you read and you look at some of the things that they've done, some of their initiatives, especially when it comes to youth, they are pro groomer.
Right. So, you know, and here's the thing: when ball teams have theme nights, majority of them do pride nights or pride days or whatever.
They do a pride day.
Yeah, whatever. Attendance, I think, tends to go down on those days.
Yeah,
you know,
they're appealing to a very fine niche.
But they also often will do like Faith and Family Day and all that. So, you know, if you want to target different audiences,
and I guess that's the thing.
I guess it's a thing. I think you're better off going, you know, with Star Wars night and 80s night and whatever. But you do you whatever. In this case right here, they're partnering with a very far left. I mean, and this is, like you said, I could see somebody accusing them of being in that somewhat groomer mindset, as in reaching out and almost recruiting and all that sort of thing. You know, trying to normalize the gender dysphoria and the confusion, and, you know, standing with the trans. So
especially among young people.
This is not a good organization. This is not. This is an organization that really hurts kids who are in, you know, mentally unstable places and who are struggling in life. And their answer is to push them deeper into a destructive way of life.
Yes.
And so Major League Baseball deciding they're going to partner with them, says something there. Cardinals, unfortunately deciding, and again, that profile picture still up.
Oh yeah.
A lot of businesses learned their lesson about doing the pride stuff.
It's like, you know what, maybe we'll not do that. And now for some reason, and I think you're right. I think this came under some major MLB pressure because come on, it's functioning essentially the same way as, you know, the NPC downloads. You know, we've seen everybody gets the same exact language. They have to do the same thing. They have to use the same picture. You know, put up the black square if you're in support of this. Here's your Ukraine flag. You know, it's the same thing. It's downloaded NPC programming, and I don't like it.
Yeah, so we're several months before Cardinals are doing anything back on the field. Spring training's a long way away. Plenty of time to forget this, but still an unforced error. And I was hoping under the new leadership they would get away from stuff like this.
Yeah, take maybe the Texas Rangers stance on it.
Yeah, and the Texas Rangers don't come out and like, we hate gay kids. They don't do that. There's like, we're
not going to do this stuff.
We do baseball.
Right.
We do baseball. We're just going to do baseball. Increasingly, like, there's some Blues players and some others are like, yeah, I'm not wearing the rainbow flag in warm-ups before. And they're not attacking anybody. They're just like, we're just, guys, have your debate somewhere else. That's not what sports is for. So this is, like you said, stepping in it in a very unforced way for the Cardinals. So
they didn't need to do this.
Are they doing damage, or are people angry at them enough for the on the field stuff that it's not going to make any difference? I was really disappointed to see it because it's just such a dumb decision. There's nothing for them to gain.
Yeah,
nothing.
It feels kind of like insult to injury, you know, because look, they've been having a terrible year with fans. They had this season,
year and a half, really.
I think you're right. And it's so much so that people outside of the market have noted it.
Yeah.
You know, people who are away, you know, the announcers for our away games, you know, or announcers from national outlets and things like that, they would note, it's like, this is weird for St. Louis.
Yes.
Like they were like, I've never seen this before. This doesn't make any sense. Even in their worst sort of record years, you know, these are not fair weather fans out here in St. Louis.
No.
So the fact that they are staying away from the ballpark right now says something. I don't know what it says, but everybody has noticed. So in this environment, you do this too.
Right.
You kind of Bud Light yourself. It's like, why would you do that?
Yeah. PMS 3105 on Rumble says the Cardinals lost me when they caved and donated to the BLM. BLM stuff blindly. Yeah, because the Cardinals on that whole thing, they dipped their toe in, got smacked, and backed off real fast.
Oh yeah,
but they did dip their toe in.
They did, yeah.
You know, and so then they kind of got away from it. But yeah, they decided to do, and some of that I think might have been pressure from Flaherty, Jack Flaherty.
Yes,
who's now with the Detroit Tigers. And he, because he's pretty far left, you know, and he spoke his mind on social media, which, you know, you're allowed to do.
I'm not, you can do that.
You know, and it's one of the reasons I don't think he was as popular in St. Louis as he could have been, because he's not a bad pitcher. He's a pretty good pitcher. But he wanted out of St. Louis, and as much as anything, that may have been a cultural fit or misfit. And in this case right here, the Cardinals are just picking a fight. And when you look at the comments on Facebook and Twitter or X, it's always going to be Twitter and me. When you look at the comments, they're exactly the debate and the argument and the name calling that you would expect.
Yes. Absolutely.
And so there's nothing to be gained.
No, you didn't have to do this.
Yeah. And especially if you're going to do something like that, why pick a partnership with an organization like GLAD that is highly, highly polarizing? You know, there are many, many reasons why people in good faith go, not you.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I think back in the day, these types of things used to just be an eye roller for us,
right,
on the right. You know, we would, we'd see the Pride Month logo change that would sweep across social media. We would all roll our eyes. Nobody would really say anything about it. We just kind of went on with our business. And the more they pushed that stuff into it, the more we just said, I'm not sure I'm comfortable with this, until they push way past beyond, I think the tolerance level of most Americans. It was like, okay, you need to stop that bullcrap right now. And I think they're still trying to understand that that's where we are. That's where society, that Overton window has shifted back. It snapped back after all of that pushing over the years and years and years. So my question, though, to a lot of people, because there are still some things that these various companies will do that a lot of us, instead of getting really up in arms about, we just kind of roll our eyes at. Is this an eye roller, or is this okay, fine, I'm not even coming back if you do fix the things in the front office that I'm mad at?
Yeah, Cardinals, you have to win your fan base back. And you're you look at how red Southern Illinois and Eastern Missouri is, you're telling a lot of your fan base, we don't care what you think about this. Dumb move.
Now, in a better note, we try our best to always honor our veterans and those who've served, even the fallen. We want to honor them and teach our children the value of freedom. So on December 13th at 11 a.m., Civil Air Patrol St. Louis Composite Squadron will be helping Belle Reve Garden Cemetery to remember and honor our veterans by laying remembrance wreaths on the graves of our country's fallen heroes. Please help News Talk STL and our local Civil Air Patrol St. Louis honor and remember as many fallen heroes as possible by sponsoring remembrance wreaths, volunteering on Wreath Day, or inviting your family and friends to attend with you. So go to newstalkstl.com and click on the Wreaths Across America banner for more information. But before then, New York City crime is bad, and it's only going to get worse. Larry Connors has some thoughts on this during Larry Connors' commentary, coming right up.
Here I am, rock you like a hurricane.
Mike Ferguson in the morning.
My opinion is it's weird.
On News Talk STL. From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
Some beneficial rain on the way for Saturday, but maybe a few stronger storms, too. First, though, let's squeeze in one more dry and warm day. Partly sunny this afternoon, a high of 84. Generally quiet tonight, a relatively warm low of 67. Then tomorrow, rain and storms likely as a cold front approaches. A few severe thunderstorms possible with wind and hail. Our main concerns, a high of 80 tomorrow. Much cooler and breezy Sunday with a high of only 66. From the First Alert 4 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers.
Hey there, Chris Cooper of Serenity Wealth Management. Join us this Sunday right here on News Talk STL for Serenity Wealth Now Radio. This week featuring special guest Clint Overton of the Boardroom Bullpen. We're going to spend a little time talking about an often not talked about aspect of a company's balance sheet, and that is their people. As somebody who appreciates a good conversation with individuals, I'm really looking forward to this show. So tune in right here, News Talk STL, Sunday morning, 9 a.m., or on Serenity Wealth Now social media outlets.
Investment advice offered through Fortis Capital Advisors, LLC. Larry Connors commentary, brought to you by Vincent's Jewelers, offering a wide selection of jewelry, including lab-grown diamonds, affordable earrings, bracelets, necklaces, and rings, up to 75% off their natural counterparts. Visit vincentsjewelers.com. This is Larry Connors commentary on News Talk STL.
I would not want to live in New York City, but it can be a fun place to visit, or was before the leftist woke agenda took place. Of course, you could plan a family trip to New York and have no issues. Or you could get stabbed or shot while walking the streets or on the subway. No sane parent would expose their children to such danger. I don't see it getting any better. Last week, a 64-year-old church leader was beaten to death. The accused attacker is 25, and when arrested, he had a 20-inch sword. Already facing trial on stabbing someone else. In fact, he's been arrested more than 30 times. Mondani, the man who would be the next New York City mayor, was being asked, why is this guy on the streets? Mondani quickly pivoted into, well, many criminals have mental health issues, but the reporter pointed out, when arrested, he was given a bail he couldn't pay, so they lowered it so he could be on the streets. Why? Mondani started the leftist dance. We have systemic health issues, blah, 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 blah. But I think it's going to be a long time before I consider it safe enough to visit New York City.
Get more Larry Connors on Larry Connors USA.
Tonight at 6 on News Talk STL.
I want to tell you more about Wellington Environmental's dustless blasting services. Wellington can blast paint, grease, graffiti, even stripes off parking lots. Truly amazing and powerful. But can Wellington blast something more sensitive? Yes, Wellington can use dry ice to blast soot and odors off smoke-damaged surfaces right after a fire. Currently, Wellington uses dry ice to clean mold off wood inside a home. Why? Well, dry ice immediately disappears, turns into a vapor. That means no mess to clean up, no damaged surfaces. You need to check with Wellington, always researching and practicing with new, better, faster, safer equipment and products for you. And it's very easy to schedule an estimator for your next project. Call Cindy, 314-644-4930, 644-4930. Be well with Wellington.
Craving the freshest in town? Anthony's Produce is your daily destination for nature's finest. For 28 years, we've been your trusted supplier for everything seasonal. It's homegrown apple season. Choose from many local varieties. Grab some caramel dip or try our made-in-house gourmet caramel apples. Fall decorating? We've got Hardy Mums, corn stalks, straw bales, pumpkins, gourds, Indian corn, and jumbo specialty pumpkins. Perfect for carving or pies. Plus seasoned firewood available for pickup or delivery. Open Monday through Saturday, 7 to 6:30 and Sundays, 8 to 5 on Jungerman Road or at anthonysproduce.com.
Jeffco Patriot Radio.
Hey guys, Jefferson County Councilman Billy Crow here from Jeffco Patriot Radio. On behalf of Tim Jones and I just want to thank you for making Jeffco Patriot Radio the #1 listened to show on Sundays here on News Talk STL, where we dive into all the things happening in and around Jefferson County. Check Tim Jones and I out on Jeffco Patriot Radio this and every Sunday at high noon here on 1019, 94.1 News Talk STL.
Jeffco Patriot Radio.
We talk about race relations.
This conversation has completely made me crazy.
This is complete insanity.
And I'm sick and tired of it.
1019 and 94.1.
I find it to be a conversation starter.
News Talk STL. The 80s.
Bueller.
The 80s.
Let's go while we're young.
Never been a decade like it.
Shall we play a game?
Never will be.
Where the beat?
It's Flashback Friday.
And I could tell it wouldn't be long. They was with me, yeah, me singing. I love rock and roll. Sweet like a dime in the jukebox, baby. I love rock and roll. Smoke take time and dance with me. Ow! Smiled so I got up and asked for his name.
Hi, it's Randy Tobler here. Pour a big cup of coffee and catch my show every Saturday morning from 6 to 9. Right now, it's back to Mike Ferguson in the morning here on News Talk STL.
Joan Jett, nice.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
I was actually surprised to find out this is a cover.
Yeah, that's right.
I
That's
did
right.
not know
Yep,
that, which makes
that's
it, when you listen to the lyrics about the age of the person she's flirting
Right.
with, it kind of makes it a little bit weirder. But
and spoiler alert, she really wasn't flirting with him, as it turns out.
Oh?
No, he's not her type.
No.
Let me put it another way. Nobody in this room would be her type either.
Oh.
But it's still a great
It's still a
kick-ass
great song.
It's still a great song. Yeah, I would go see Joan Jett in concert if she came. Because now because she was in the Runaways. She was one of the founders of the Runaways along with Lita Ford and some of the others. And she obviously went more of the punk rock direction and then sort of mainstreamed a little bit of a punk influence. Then Lita Ford went the glam metal, direction. But yeah, you gotta love Joan Jett. How can you not like Joan Jett?
Yeah. This song is awesome.
It's a great song. Oh my goodness. All right. Okay. So personally, I'm spending, I can't say nothing on Halloween because I was at CVS the other day picking up some stuff, and I saw one of those Time Life special like edition magazine things.
Oh yeah.
It was like most haunted places in America.
Ooh,
I'm
those
like,
are
you know
fun.
what? I'm buying it just because I'm in the mood for weird reading. So technically, I did buy something for Halloween.
Right.
So my purchase of Halloween was $14.
Okay. All
Okay.
right. That's it. Something
But
cool.
that's probably all I'm going to do.
Well, are you going to get candy?
Probably not.
Okay.
Yeah, probably not. On average, we meaning Americans, we are spending hundreds of dollars on it. Hundreds. So here's the latest survey. And of course, yeah, this reflects some inflation. Yes, it reflects some tariffs, but also just reflects how popular Halloween is.
Yeah.
So a new Halloween spending poll finds that the average that American is going to spend on Halloween is $289 on Halloween.
That seems like too much money to me.
Okay, so I'm going to break down where that comes from.
Okay,
here.
please do.
But here's the thing: it also depends on whether you have kids or not, which makes a lot of sense.
Well, yeah, I get that.
If you don't have kids in the house,
Okay,
$193 on Halloween this year.
that's still too much.
Yeah, if you do have kids,
Okay,
$445.
What the heck?
Halloween. Yeah. Okay, so and this is basically a couple of polls, like surveys going together. That's what they're coming up with here.
You're lacing the chocolate with gold or
Yep.
something? What the heck?
So you're looking at about $60 on costumes per person.
$60.
$60. Because remember, they like doubled in price because of tariffs this year.
Yeah, I guess so. Because, because they're just plastic things they make in China.
And here's the Tony Colombo aspect of this. Almost $57 on decorations.
Oh yeah,
Just go into his office.
Mhm,
He's got Halloween decorations everywhere.
Yeah, see, I'm not doing that.
$50 on party supplies.
Oh, so we're talking about people just having balls. Basically.
Yeah, stuff there. $51 on things like haunted houses and attractions and
Okay. Doing
entertainment.
Halloweeny entertainment
Right,
things.
Halloween,
Okay.
which exactly.
All right.
$50 on candy, which seems a little low to me.
$50
actually. $50 on candy. That seems a little low to me.
Well, those big bags of 100 assorted they used to be like $10. Now they're like what, 20?
Yeah, they're $20 to $30.
So
each.
you're only talking like two of those.
Yeah, you're talking. So that's $50-$60 right there. Yeah.
Interesting.
And then the rest $23 on just other miscellaneous type stuff.
Yeah, see, the thing is, I would, if I'm a kid and I'm doing, and you explain to me the calculation, I'm like, I will totally do the thrift store costume thing if you spend more money on candy.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Because look, you said, what was it? $50 on candy.
Yeah.
$60 per kid on costume.
Right.
I will take a $10 costume.
There you go.
You know what I mean? We'll go to the thrift store. I will get a flannel shirt. I will already have the jeans and I get the boots. I will be a cowboy.
That's right.
I will be a cowboy with a big sack of candy.
You remember, I don't know, you might not even be able to remember this, but there was you'd go into Kmart.
Oh boy. Yeah, Kmart back in the day.
And at one point they had these like plastic masks.
Oh, the plastic masks with the
little rubber string around the back.
Yes,
that was just
barely held on by a miniature staple on either side.
Yeah, and you put that on, and in 15 seconds, your whole face is sweating. It was so uncomfortable.
Yes,
your eyeballs are sweating.
Right, you can barely see out of the thing.
Yeah, and you can't see them. But then that's like one year. I think I was like it was like Frankenstein's monster or something.
Mm-hmm.
I got one of those and just dressed up in like you said, the flannel shirt and the jean coat and all that kind of stuff, and that was a costume, which I thought the mask was so cool. Hang on, then you put it on after a few minutes, like, this sucks.
And then the rubber band breaks.
Yes.
And now you're carrying around your mask and not carrying candy.
Or you're getting a shoelace and you're trying to tie it back on.
Oh man, I remember one year my mom actually got me one of those, and it was an Optimus Prime. Costume. Now it was one of those. It was a plastic sheet thing. It was a printed plastic sheet that you would basically tie around your body, and then that plastic mask that you would wear, and it was the cheapest thing ever in the history of all costumes. But you think if you're an 8-year-old, you think it's the coolest thing because I am dressed like the leader of the Transformers.
Yeah,
give me candy.
At some point, they're going to get the poll as to what the big costumes are this year.
Yeah,
and I'm so out of touch on the kids pop culture
Yeah,
stuff.
I don't know what the look up the Spirit Halloween website, please.
Yeah, so apparently there's something called K-pop Demon Hunters, which I guess is the thing right now.
I'm aware of this.
I don't know what that is.
I'm aware.
To
of
me,
this.
I hear Demon Hunter, I think of the metal band, but I guess that's something different.
This is a huge deal. The K-pop Demon Hunter thing it's a very big deal.
Yeah. So, but yeah, other than my weird reading magazine, even it was like weird enough. Like the lady at the cashier, she's like, "Really?" She's like, "Haunted Places." I'm like, and I'm explaining myself to the CBS. I'm like, I'm just in the mood for some weird reading. She's like, okay,
hey, if you work a counter, stop judging.
I was like, she might as well have said, I'm not judging, but she was judging.
You
me.
totally
I just know that she was
totally judging you.
Just saying.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness. Okay, a couple minutes left here.
Yeah.
Get your immediate thoughts on this. We kind of talked about this off the air the other day, and I wonder now. Because now I got this thing that says, and there was another survey and poll. We've talked about the loneliness epidemic, particularly among men in America, and how many singles, but particularly men, are just checking out of like dating and pursuing a mate.
Right.
And we're talking 20s, 30s, 40s,
Oh yeah, they're pulling themselves right out of the dating pool entirely.
Somebody did a study and they did the survey on, do you think you could ever have, I'm not taking this a weird way, but have a romantic relationship with an AI chat box companion?
Oh, wow.
1 in 20 said yes in America.
Oh, geez.
6%. And that was almost exclusively younger men. So basically, if they've got somebody to talk to, they don't care if it's a real human being. 1 in 20 mostly young American men. There were some others, age groups and some females. But 1 in 20 Americans say that, yeah, I could see that taking the place of an actual human relationship with somebody of the other side, or any could be gay or straight, So yeah, so they're talking about like I'm sure there are apps out there now that you can like download a friend, download a girlfriend, or download a boyfriend, and they will just AI have conversations with you and compliment you and encourage you and all that sort of thing all through AI. And so increasingly, and the numbers the trends look like they expect that to go up.
Yeah, the death spiral of human society continues.
And we did it to ourselves.
We did it to ourselves.
Don't blame the technology on this.
Yeah,
because the whole disconnect and loneliness epidemic. And honestly, I think a lot of this, I don't mean to get all like super conservative-y on it, but you can trace a lot of this divide back to the fourth wave feminists.
Absolutely. The feminists kind of ruined everything. And here we are now inviting the copper bloods into our beds. So how
do you get treated for rust?
Rust. Not today. Satan's coming up, and we're talking loose animals and porch pirates.
Oh,
and witches brews.
Okay.
With me, yeah, me. Next we're moving on. It was with me, yeah, me. Singing, I love rock and roll. Feel like down in the jukebox, baby. I love rock and roll. So take time and dance with me.
All right, hunters, you know what time it is. You know what is right around the corner, right? That is right. Duck season opens November 1st in Missouri's North Zone. But if you're a hunter, you already know that. Deer rifle season starts November 15th. So hunters, are you ready? Mike Ferguson here for Whistle Pig Outdoors, because Whistle Pig Outdoors has everything you need. Stock up on your premium ammo. They've got Migra, they've got Apex, they've got Fiocchi, you name it, they've got it. Upgrade your decoy spread. GHG, Avian X, SX, you name it, they've got it. Stay dry with waders from Banded, Drake, even First Light as well. And here's the thing, the family-owned business there, this stuff is pretty much all field tested. They only put high-quality, high-performing items on their shelves or to sell to you online. And you can get hunting rifle ammo, big game clothing, deer stands, blinds, scents, you name it. Whistle Pig Outdoors is your stop. So check them out from waterfowl to whitetail. Whistle Pig Outdoors has you covered. They're on North Main in Troy. You can also learn more at whistlepigoutdoors.com, but go check them out. That store is fantastic, and tell them that Mike was bragging about him on the radio.
News Talk STL is proud to have Doug Voss of Safe Bunny Radio as part of our lineup each week. Doug has been a staple on the St. Louis radio airways for many years as one of the leading financial experts in the area. You can now hear Doug and Safe Bunny Radio every weekend on News Talk STL. But in case you miss anything, you can check it all out at DougVossSafeBunnyRadio.com. What else do our listeners need to know, Doug?
Simply put, I focus on helping pre-retirees and retirees build, preserve, and protect retirement assets, and I've been helping my clients solve their insurance and financial needs for the past 33 years. I also strive to educate my clients on how to prepare for retirement, minimize the impact of market volatility on their assets, and deal with the challenges of increased longevity. Call me today at 844-676-SAFE. That's 844-676-7233.
Doug Voss is a registered representative. Securities offered through DHL Securities, LLLP. Member FINRA and SIPC.
Deep in the eyes, she touching me so to start. She says there's no turning back. She got me yelling.
Let's get back to all this madcap mayhem with Mike Ferguson in the morning. But don't forget, stick around for Jones and Arps every Monday through Friday, 4 to 6 p.m.
In the radio business, we call this a make good.
Yeah. It actually made me sad what happened. I had to make up for it. So I hope they better be listening right now. I broke the rock theme for this.
Somebody requested it, and Soros the Gremlin said no last week.
Yes.
And so there it is. This is one of the better Michael Jackson songs.
It's a solid song.
And I was given explicit instructions to remind you not to say nothing bad.
I know.
About
I had
the
a
king.
I got a letter.
The Prince of Pop.
I got a letter because I said Michael Jackson was weird.
Watch yourself, Mike.
You're not allowed to do that right now.
You. Okay, real quick note here. By the way, it's 7:50. We do have a change coming to the morning show, so we're finalizing all the details on this. But we're going to make that announcement on Tuesday.
Right.
Yeah, Tuesday. That's going to have it's going to be kind of a big deal for us, right?
Yeah.
It really is. Really is. All right. So 7:50 on a Friday. You know what the heck that means.
It's the weird, the wacky, and the worrisome. These are the stories that make you say,
I call the devil.
Oh, hell no. This can't be happening, man. This isn't happening.
Devil.
Somewhere to be sure.
Not today, Satan, not today. Amen.
amen. Okay, so a South Carolina town clerk teamed up with the local mayor to use a hot cup of coffee to capture a spider monkey on the loose.
Oh.
It's like the weirdest Scooby gang I've ever heard of. The town clerk, the local mayor. Okay, so Casey Hill, town clerk in Utahville, Orangeburg County, said she was helping out at the Utahville Crappy Classic and Fall Fest. That must be an amazing festival on there. On Saturday, when she heard rumors of a monkey running through town. And so the rumors were backed up by photos posted by witnesses to social media. So she knew it was a real deal. So Hill linked up with Mayor Brandon Weatherford and his wife Laura, and the trio headed to the area of the last reported sighting. I guess they're just adventure seekers or something like that. I don't know.
By the way, spider monkeys are really cute critters, but they will mess you up.
They can be dangerous.
They can be very dangerous.
Yeah. So I guess they got this little Scooby gang together to solve the mystery. Sure enough, she was hanging on the back of a vehicle by the barbershop, Hill told the Post and Courier newspaper. The primate, who was dragging her own leash kind of behind her, next headed to First National Bank of South Carolina, with Hill and the Weatherfords following closely. That's where Hill laid a trap by placing her hot cup of coffee on the ground and removing the lid. So when the monkey came over to investigate the steaming beverage, Hill stepped on the leash. Okay, so that's how she captured the monkey.
Okay.
Now, the monkey was claimed shortly after by a woman who identified the simian as her pet, named Ava.
Wow.
I didn't know you could own spider monkeys in South Carolina.
I didn't know you can either. I had no idea.
Like I thought there was, that was a kind of special deal.
That's a think twice.
Yeah.
Think
yeah.
twice. Think twice.
Yeah, I'm definitely not doing it. In our second story here, a New York resident's home security camera captured the moment a package was stolen from their porch by a masked porch pirate.
I hate porch pirates.
A raccoon.
Oh.
Oh, isn't that special?
He's kind of cute with his little hands
They
and everything.
are, they are.
But look, the New York resident's home security camera captured the moment the package was stolen. The local raccoon had other gosh, something's wrong with my story here. I'm sorry. But the resident said their camera recorded the moment the raccoon came for a package of Chewy delivered food. For,
Okay.
Now
I
the food
swear
was,
animals can't read except the word Chewy on
they-
the outside of those boxes.
they see the blue and they're like, I know what's in there. Now apparently this food was being returned. It was food for the residents' dogs. It was being returned. I guess it's not to the dog's liking.
Right.
But the raccoon came through, ripped open the box and started eating the contents. The resident said the camera also recorded the raccoon returning on subsequent nights to check to see if there's any more edible goodies kind of around. It's like, I got food from here last time. Let me see.
See, the thing is, like, you're like, I was going to get my money back, but when you see that, it's like, you know what, you can have it. It's fine.
Well, actually, they said Chewy understood the situation and still issued a full refund. So good on you, Chewy. He's like, and by the way, I use Chewy, so it's good to know that they're good people out there. All right, now in our last story here, animal rescuers in California shared security camera stills capturing the moment a foster kitten spiced up her human family's dinner with a special ingredient.
Oh no!
A dead mouse.
Not today, Satan, not today.
Chris Harps again. Now, the Merced SPCA shared photos captured by a home security camera in the foster family's kitchen. The photos show the foster kitten, Wendy, dropping the deceased rodent into what looks like a pot of soup cooking on the stove.
Oh, no.
So a little bit of a witch's brew there.
Yeah, but you know what? You know what that means, though?
Oh, absolutely.
That means that the kitten has accepted you.
Yes, absolutely.
That's a gift.
It is a gift. Now, quote, Wendy is a foster failure that was caught on the kitchen cam or kitten cam, adding spice to her mom's dinner, the post said. We should all be as thoughtful as Miss Wendy.
This is the budget version or the Bollywood version of Ratatouille, huh?
Yeah, that's right.
Exactly.
You ever had if your cat's ever brought you stuff?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, our cats are indoor cats, so although Rosie's, when we did our renovation, we actually had a couple mice, and Rosie got them.
Yeah.
But when we lived in another place, we had this like neighborhood cat that kind of adopted us named Buddy, and would bring us like birds and mice and stuff. And
I love it.
We'd open the door and there it was.
There
on
it
the
was
front
on the porch. Yep,
Yeah.
absolutely. Now, have you seen some of these videos online too of people just randomly opening their doors to stray cats? The stray cat comes in, kills the mouse, and runs out with it.
No, I haven't seen
It is the coolest thing ever. Basically, cats understand their assignment in human society. It's like, hey, there's a mouse in it. Like there was one where it was a kitten, and the guy just he takes it into a room and drops it basically in front of where the mouse is. It goes, oh, there's a mouse. I get it now. And he jumps on it, grabs it, and runs away with it. It's pretty awesome. Now, as you can guess, once the owner saw the footage, Wendy's foster owner said she was out feeding her dogs when the kitchen camera recorded the cat's attempt. She said the feline's suspicious behavior when she returned to the kitchen led her to check the camera footage to discover the surprise.
See,
so
that was gonna be my next question. Like, when did they find out?
Yeah, so they found out early enough.
Okay.
And as you can guess, it was takeout for dinner that night. Now, if you speak the language of cats as I do, as you do, you know that Wendy was showing gratitude and affection by gifting her caretakers the spoils of a successful hunt. I too have been on the receiving end of a dead animal offering, and while I'm all for responding with scritches and treats, when it comes to this kind of kitty cuisine, you know what I'm saying.
Look, all the devil.
Oh, hell no. This can't be happening, man. This ain't happening. Devil.
Just tell her where to be sure.
Satan, not today. Amen.
When Wendy just wanted a little more protein.
Yeah.
in dinner. That's all that it was.
It was like, these humans don't really know what they're doing. There's like barely any meat in this. So I will help them out. Like, how does she even hunt? She has no claws or teeth or anything.
Tom Shaw Realtors, representing the sale and development of more than 150,000 acres. Selling, buying. Call Tom, 636-432-1922. Ask about hunting leases. ShawRealtors.com.
Hey, Columbo here for Rockwood Charcoal. Rockwood is made from 100% pure Missouri oak and hickory, so you're cooking with the best and supporting local industry and a local business all at once. There's over 100 area Rockwood retailers. Find yours at rockwoodcharcoal.com.
Streaming TV is where it's at. It's not about cutting the cord anymore. That's old news. It's all about your customized TV options. With the best and cheapest high-speed internet and your own TV subscriptions, we've got your dream TV lineup. Between wired and satellite internet and TV, you now have tons of options. Save money and get more internet speed and better TV today by calling the Whole Home Connect. We scan your location and offer you the best TV and internet options. And we always have specials and promotions. So when you call, ask about that. Take 5 minutes of your time. Make this free call now and learn how to save money and get better internet and TV for your home anywhere in the U.S. Make this simple and free call now.
800-257-1632. 800-257-1632. 800-257-1632. That's 800-257-1632.
Number one for live and local
Conservative talk. I've been a registered Democrat for 28 years. I'm really glad you're talking about this. You gotta love these idiots out here. They think we're all stupid, I guess.
news, analysis, opinion.
Totally agree on that. I disagree with you.
It's over.
Very upset. Thanks for taking my call. Thanks for taking my call. Thank you for taking my call. Thank you very much for taking my call.
Wanted to ask you really quick. Is there room on the bandwagon for me?
1019 and 94.1 News Talk STL. KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Belfast, KNBS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1 and always streaming at newstalkstl.com.
Breaking news this hour from Town Hall. I'm Rich Thomason. In what could be described as a marathon phone call, President Trump spent 2 hours talking with Russia's Vladimir Putin yesterday. Quoting White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt, the president feels like great progress was made on this call. The two leaders also talking about a meeting possibly in Budapest, but no date has been set for that just yet. Today, Mr. Trump is meeting with Ukrainian President Zelensky at the White House. Zelensky could make a pitch for long-range Tomahawk missiles capable of hitting targets deep inside Russia.
The president is signaling he's not ready to agree to sell Kyiv a long-range missile system that the Ukrainians say they desperately need.
Thanks so much. So we have
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky was already in Washington on Friday ahead of his meeting with Trump. In recent days, Trump had shown openness to selling Ukraine long-range Tomahawk cruise missiles, even as Putin warned against it. Following Thursday's call with Putin, Trump appeared to downplay the prospects of Ukraine getting the missiles. I'm Karen Shammer.
A one-time Trump aide turned critic is in hot water.
John Bolton has been charged with mishandling classified documents. Now, Bolton is, of course, a former national security advisor from the first Trump administration. He's been a longtime adversary of the president since his departure from office. This investigation dates back years, but it burst into public view in August when the FBI raided his home in Bethesda, Maryland, and his office in Washington, D.C. in search of classified records. Bolton's legal team already indicated that many of the records that were found actually date back decades and reflect his longtime career in government service.
Correspondent Eric Tucker reporting. Watching Wall Street ahead of this morning's opening bell, the stock futures are mixed. Right now, the Dow futures are up 52 points, but the NASDAQ futures are down 67 points. More on these stories, townhall.com.
Dinesh D'Souza went into a war zone to make his new film, revealing never-before-seen footage of Coruscant. The film offers a new way to understand Israel, radical Islam, anti-Semitism, and biblical prophecy.
The fate of the world be
You tied to this place?
The Dragon's Prophecy, based on Jonathan Cahn's international bestseller. Watch it now or buy the DVD at salemnow.com. That's salemnow.com.
Hi, this is Rhett Rasmussen of BestHotGrill.com. We make the amazing Solaire infrared gas grills that are built to last and will consistently deliver better than restaurant grilled food. The Solaire infrared burner heats up to 1,000 degrees in just 3 minutes, even in the dead of winter. The high heat locks in the juices and flavor and grills food faster. Learn more about these fantastic USA-made grills at BestHotGrill.com. Solaire hot, fast grills at Best Hot Grill.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
Some beneficial rain on the way for Saturday, but maybe a few stronger storms, too. First, though, let's squeeze in one more dry and warm day. Partly sunny this afternoon, a high of 84. Generally quiet tonight, a relatively warm low of 67. Then tomorrow, rain and storms likely as a cold front approaches. A few severe thunderstorms possible with wind and hail are main concerns. A high of 80 tomorrow. Much cooler and breezy Sunday with a high of only 66. From the First Alert 4 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers.
This hour of News Talk STL is brought to you by Stifel, serving investors for over 130 years. Contact your Stifel financial advisor at stifel.com. That's STIFEL.com.
What if there was a one-stop shop for all your healthcare needs and no insurance was needed? At Bell Healthcare, we make wellness simple. Optimize the patient's life. Struggling with weight loss? We offer proven programs including GLP-1 treatments like semaglutide. Need hormone therapy? We've got personalized plans for both men and women. Nagging pain or injuries? Chiropractic and regenerative medicine are available. Ready to take control of your health? Visit bellhealthcare.net today and get optimized.
Hungry for the best steak you'll ever have? Head to the heart of Moscow Mills and discover Harry J's, a local landmark and family-owned steakhouse, serving up excellence since '98. From mouth-watering appetizers to decadent desserts, Harry J's has something for everyone. Enjoy our extensive bar selection while soaking in our friendly family atmosphere. Whether dine-in or carry-out, your meal is prepared to perfection. Make the drive to 300 Main Street and treat yourself to a taste of Moscow Mills' finest. Harry J's, more than a steakhouse. We're a tradition.
Mike Ferguson. Gabe Phifer.
You are a whip scientist and you could be a whip villain. Get up, in case you hear the alarm.
Get up, St. Louis.
Thundercats.
Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
Get up, this is your cousin.
All right, we've got our own elections here in just about a year. I mean, literally a year and some change around here, but a lot of attention on what's happening is in Virginia right now. 2 races in Virginia. You would think the governor's race would be the one everybody's watching, and to some degree they are.
Yeah.
But this race for attorney general.
Yeah, this one grabbed headlines real quickly and for an interesting reason.
Yeah, for very, very interesting reason. We're joined now by Teri Christoph from our friends at RedState. So, Teri, there was the debate last night that happened on this. And Jay Jones, of course, the guy who's under all the scrutiny here. This is how he tried to start off, basically trying to take the whole issue away. And here's what he had to say.
And you're also going to hear from my opponent about text messages that I sent that I deeply, deeply regret. Let me be very clear. I am ashamed. I am embarrassed. And I'm sorry. I am sorry to Speaker Gilbert. I'm sorry to his family. I'm sorry to my family. And I'm sorry to every single Virginian. I cannot take back what I said. But you have my word that I will always be accountable for my mistakes. And you also have my word that I will spend every waking moment fighting for you.
Okay, so falling on the sword, clearly, Teri, he was looking to try to take this away from the debate. So when it came up, he'd go, I just addressed that. What more do you want me to do? Get focused on the issues. What's the because I think a lot of people, Teri, are saying, well, after something like that, how could you possibly win a statewide race, even in a fairly purplish area like Virginia?
Well, I wish people could see the video of him when he's talking and saying those words, because he's clearly uncomfortable, almost like there wasn't a passion behind his apology. It was just something to get out of the way. He knew he had to apologize, like you said, fall on the sword. But it was like he was anxious to get it out of the way. But the reason that he can win is because the Democrats here, the Democrat Party in Virginia, and I am in Virginia, has gone all in on them. They are holding, they're holding fundraisers. I think Tim Kaine had a fundraiser, like high profile Virginia Democrats are going all in instead of really, calling for him to step aside, which is what he should do, a real man would do. They are going all in on him. And I live in the Northern Virginia part of the area, which is very, very blue, very liberal, where a lot of federal workers live. And there's nothing that a Democrat can say or do against a Republican that people around here will find problematic. So that's really the problem, is that it's gotten so bad with Democrats, who are the majority here. There's just nothing that a Democrat can do to I can't think of anything that they could do to lose the votes. And Abigail Spanberger should have been the person to tell him to get off the ticket, and she has not. So the Democrats have an appetite for this, for what he's doing, and the voters apparently do too.
Good morning, Teri. Gabe Phifer here. So is this going to have an effect, or is this affected by the governor's race?
So, the latest polling has shown for the whole entire race, all of the Republican ticket has been running behind their Democrat opponents. And it has really, since the texts have been released in the last week or so, Miyares has gone way past Jones. So I do think that there is enough of a sensible electorate here that Miyares is going to win this. Will it have spillover? It's interesting. It's like the governor's race you would think would have spillover onto the other races, but it's the opposite this year. Jay Jones has made it such an issue that it's how is that going to affect Winsome Sears? And I think she is also kind of surging because Abigail Spanberger is not taking a leadership role on this, where she's not calling out Jay Jones like she should. So it is tightened up, and some of the most recent polling has Winsome Sears within 2 points, and that's a significant ground that she's made up over the course of the year. So it's kind of a nail biter. You would think that it's a no-brainer that Jay Jones would kind of sink the entire ticket, but it is Virginia, and there's a lot of lunatics here.
Yeah, and I want to get into just a couple of minutes here, Teri, about why this has got the eyes and the ears of the entire nation, because it really kind of does. There's some political momentum reasons that a bunch of consultants and pundits think that affected, and there might be, but in this case here with Jay Jones, we're not just talking about he was a jerk. We were talking about some insane, literally homicidal statements that were made. I mean, at some point it's like, is there anything you can't come back from?
Apparently not if you're a Democrat. I've always said being a Democrat means you never have to say sorry, or you never have to face consequences. I thought we were kind of turning a corner on that, especially since Charlie Kirk's assassination, but it doesn't seem like that is. And yes, what he wrote was abominable. And I actually know Mrs. Gilbert, the one who is referenced in the text, that, he would like to see her children die in her arms. And she's had to go. I don't know the extent to this, but she's gotten off of social media. And for what I understand, the entire family has 24-hour security now. And the little boys go to preschool, they go to kindergarten, they're little guys, and they have to have security now. So, I wish more voters in Virginia were aware of that fact, because I think that is appalling that is the case. And there's nothing that a Democrat can't say, I think, in places like Virginia that there's going to be held accountable. I do think, though, that Jay Jones will be held accountable. I don't think he came across during last night's debate as sincere. And I think somebody tallied up the number of times that Jay Jones said Trump, and it was something like 47 times. It was sorry and Trump, sorry Trump. Like, he has no policy agenda. And it's become really clear that what they want to do in Virginia, and Abigail Spanberger has spoken about it too, is they want to win to take down Trump. They want to go after Trump. They want some sort of revenge. So that is what's on the agenda there. And Jay Jones pretty much said it right out loud yesterday.
Yeah, that's working out really well for Letitia James right now. So we're visiting with Teri Christoph from RedState.com. Okay, so like, for instance, here in the St. Louis area, the only major race of 2026 coming up is going to be the race for governor of Illinois. Republicans may be able to mount some kind of challenge, maybe not. We're not sure. Other than that, you're looking at the typical state legislative races in an off-year election. But in this off-year election, What do you think has got the country so captivated about these races where you are in Virginia? Because to some degree, you get the political scientists who say this sets a tone for the next cycle of elections. Is that something that could happen regardless of where Team Red or Team Blue ends up on this? I mean, how could this be important to the rest of the country?
Well, I think if the Democrats win, I think that means that there is that appetite there for revenge against Trump. I think that will carry over into the midterms. Obviously, that's a winner. Like if we're going to go elect us and we're going to start prosecuting Trump and going after Trump and stopping Trump and things like that. So I think that's Virginia used to be sort of a bellwether. I think we've gotten too far to the left to really be a good bellwether for future elections. So New Jersey might be a better one this year than Virginia. But I do think that it will solidify that what they're going to do, they want to win to go after Trump. It's not that they want to win to make anybody's life better, to make us more secure, to have children, make up those deficits from COVID shutdowns. They're not interested in anything like that. They want to go after Trump. So I think the importance of Virginia this year is that they've come right out and said they want to go after Trump. That is what they are being elected to do. So if that's what happens, I think obviously what midterms and other governor elections are going to be all about Trump. And it's really tiresome at this point.
What's the Republicans' messaging right now there in your state? Is it no, if they're anti-Trump, we're pro-Trump, or are they focusing on the statewide issues where you are?
Trump's not really an issue right now. He has said that he supports Jason Miyares. He has not come out to endorse Winsome Sears yet, but we've had 4 years of Glenn Youngkin as governor, and he has done wondrous things for the state. He has brought in a ton of business. Things, unemployment's down, business is flourishing. Things are really pretty good here. So that's really their message, is that we would like to continue on the trajectory that Glenn Youngkin got us on. And of course, there were other issues like parental rights when it comes to what's happening in the schools. So I think that's really what they're about. But now, I mean, the Democrats have really come in and just shook everything up with their nastiness. So I think the Republicans have a great agenda. It's really kind of continue what Glenn Youngkin has done for the last 4 years, but also stop these nutbags from getting elected because they are literally okay with shooting or threatening your family. So, to me, that's a pretty strong agenda right there, but I'm hoping my fellow voters here will agree with me on that. And I did want to point out, there's another race that nobody's talking about in Virginia, and it's for lieutenant governor, to replace Winsome Sears as lieutenant governor. And that's because the Democrat, her name is Ghazala Hashmi, she won't come out. She's literally a Joe Biden basement dweller. She has not come out. No one's ever heard of her. But we have a really strong lieutenant governor race too. We have a strong Republican running, John Reed. So it's kind of crazy to me that nobody's asking, no one in the media is like, where is this Hashmi lady? She's nowhere to be found. She literally won't do a debate. She doesn't do interviews. She shows up at random radical rallies and she'll fly the American flag upside down. And nobody's paying attention to that.
Teri, I've seen on my social media feed a good number of people in the DC area actually, touting and thanking the president for the deployment of the National Guard and what it is actually done for safety in the area. Are there any knock-on effects in the surrounding area, and Virginia right there, that leads to that sort of goodwill being spread down ticket?
Well, I know personally, I had to go into Union Station a few weeks ago to catch a train, and it was lovely. It was lovely to be able to walk from the parking garage into Union Station and catch your train and know that there were people everywhere. There were guardsmen, and it was a lovely, everything was calm and cool. And it's not usually like that. You're kind of like, oh my God, looking around, what's going to happen? Unfortunately, I don't feel like there have been too many of those effects. There is goodwill. I think everybody does appreciate feeling safer going into DC, because everyone in my area, we go into DC for, our cultural events, for museums, for things like that. So I do think we feel a little bit safer. On the other side is that it's emboldened the crazy people of Northern Virginia to be even crazier. They are kind of, they've been intimidating Stephen Miller, who works at the White House. He lives in the Northern Virginia area, and they have gone, the crazy liberal women of the area have gone and left pretty threatening shock messages in his neighborhood. And now I think they're moving out of the neighborhood because they feel so unsafe. So I think there's this knock-on effect that anything Trump does just really motivates the crazy element that's out here in abundance in my area to go to support a J. Jones, because they would rather have a crazy guy in office that's going to go after Trump than appreciate the fact that Trump's making our lives a little bit nicer here.
All right, Teri, Christoph from RedState.com. We've tagged you on our social media already. What's coming up next with RedState for you next day or so?
You know what? I think now that we've talked, I wanted to bring a highlight this lieutenant governor's race, that we have this woman here that will not come out of her basement. And what does she have to hide? I think we need to dig into that a little bit and see, how that might affect the ticket.
Yeah, I'm looking at her website right now, and just basic fringe leftist. She's a 2025 leftist Democrat. Yep. All right, Teri, good talk to you. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Teri.
Thank you.
Missouri's Attorney General doubles down on her effort to get rid of the sheriff and get him out of office. Could there be a legal issue with who's taking charge in his place while he's sitting in jail? We'll bring you an update to that at 8:20.
Indifference, stop it right now before you blow us all away.
Mike Ferguson in the morning.
Once I realized I hadn't been fully informed, I sought to find the answer. Some of the answers I don't like.
On NewsTalk STL.
Get up, what are you waiting for? Get up.
Life's legal challenges deserve experienced representation. For over 15 years, Cole Combs Attorney at Law has been serving St. Charles and surrounding counties with comprehensive legal expertise. From tax preparation and estate planning to family law and criminal defense, Cole delivers personalized solutions for your unique situation. You have traffic tickets, need a business formation, real estate matters, one call will handle it all. Cole O. Combs Attorney at Law. Call 636-949-0010 extension 3 today, or visit colecombs-law.com.
I'm Missouri Attorney General Catherine Hanaway. When severe weather hits, scammers often follow. They may pose as charities, jack up prices on essentials, or offer fraudulent home repairs. I'm committed to protecting Missourians from those scams. If you've been targeted or suspect price gouging, report it to our office at 800-392-8222 or online at ago.mo.gov.
Paid for by the Missouri Attorney General's Office.
This is Elizabeth Kaiser. If you're a self-insured employer with a minimum of 200 plan members, listen up, because we've only got until December 31st. There's $600 billion on the table for you from a historic settlement agreement. Meet Bill Schmaltz.
Thank you, Elizabeth. The program's called Pharmaceutical Industry Overcharging Recovery Program. The money is available. It's already been litigated. You just need to ask for it. I'm going to help you get that money, and I'm going to give you a couple of examples. 200 members on the plan, $840K, 500 members, 2.1 million, 4.2 million with 1,000, and it keeps going up. You can contact me at bill@ecgins.com. The more people you have on your plan, the more recovery money you're entitled to. The money's there. There's nothing you have to do other than fill out paperwork. Contact me, bill@ecgins.com, and we'll help you get that. bill@ecgins.com.
That's bill@ecgins.com.
Live and local.
Well, here's what's on my mind. I think I got the solution to immigration.
News Talk STL. News, analysis, opinion. The 80s. Bueller.
The 80s. Let's go while we're young.
Never been a decade like it.
Shall we play a game?
Never will be.
Where the beat?
It's Flashback Friday.
Now we're talking. Yeah,
Nice.
Good stuff there. All right, got a news dump coming your way here in just a minute, but here's a little trip down memory lane from this week. Here is what the news sounded like over the last 5 days.
Now it's time to translate these victories against terrorists on the battlefield into the ultimate prize of peace and prosperity for the entire Middle East.
Mr. Trump, tear down this fence now.
ICE law enforcement is being attacked by rioters, rocks being thrown at them, even Molotov cocktails, their car tires being slashed.
It's just not a safe, healthy, humane environment when you're over capacity like this. It's an emergency.
The St. Louis sheriff sitting in jail tonight. A federal judge says he has reason to believe Alfred Montgomery committed felonies while out on bond.
We're gathered not only to celebrate Charlie's birthday, but to honor a truth that he gave his entire life to defend, and that's freedom.
What we really have here are politicians trying to silence voters, which is a little bit what this referendum is all about.
All right. And what's happening right now? The No Kings thing is back this weekend. One massive federal welfare program is on a countdown to be affected by the shutdown, and a legendary rocker dies. Let's go ahead and dump some news on you here.
Oops.
Soros the gremlin.
Dang it.
I need help.
Soros the gremlin did it again.
Oh, dang it.
Wake up, America. It all worked out. They got all the news. The morning news dump.
All right, here's where we're at. Missouri's Attorney General doubles down on her argument that Sheriff Alfred Montgomery must be removed from office while he deals with multiple criminal charges.
Valid.
Well, he just simply can't be carrying out his duties. I mean, I know that when he was under house arrest, his team was making the argument that he could do it by Zoom. He can't do it by Zoom from a prison cell. Like, he's in jail. He doesn't have access to communications. He just simply can't be doing the job.
Okay, so that is from her conversation with KMOV's David Amilati. So Hanaway went on to say, and I think this is interesting, that she questions the legality of the acting sheriff and Montgomery's attorney taking over while the criminal cases proceed. She didn't say for sure that, no, they can't do that. But
Right.
basically, it's, we haven't been here before. We got to figure out who's actually supposed to be in and who's making the decision.
Right.
Because essentially the sheriff's office is saying, well, the next in chain of command, he just assumes the executive role. But this is an elected position.
Right.
So with the attorney general basically is like, we need to figure this out.
Yeah, I mean, generally speaking, when it comes to elected positions, there's written in law a
Right.
means by which you would replace them if for some reason they cannot serve.
Right.
So in the instance, like, let's say an AG gets picked up by the federal government to do something else, which has happened happened a few times, then the law says the governor gets to appoint.
Correct.
Right. And until such time as the next election. Right. Correct. So, but we haven't done this with a sheriff before. Is that what does the law say?
Right.
Does the mayor get to appoint somebody, or does it just simply go to the next the next person in the chain of command according to the law enforcement?
There is a chance that it's not addressed at all.
Right. That's entirely possible.
And then at that point,
we got to make it up.
Who's in charge?
Right.
Who makes the decision?
Who's on first?
If Alfred Montgomery is removed from office or he resigns, then you've got another situation. Normally, the governor would appoint the new sheriff.
Right.
However, with St. Louis City having the separate charter going back to the Great Divorce of 18 whatever, it's possible that St. Louis may have a different set of rules. We don't know.
We are in uncharted territory.
See, and this shows you how bad of an impact that Alfred Montgomery's personal behavior is having, because this is essentially a process serving and security and transport mini firm.
Yeah.
They're not even, you could go 110 miles an hour down Grand right in front of a sheriff's deputy vehicle. They are not allowed to do anything about it.
They have no authority to do that.
None whatsoever.
So yeah, we're in a weird place because of this is how destructive having the wrong person in an elected office can be.
Yeah, exactly. You know what? I'm skipping over the dueling sound bites again from the shutdown. Here's the bottom line. Shutdown still going on. Not going to end anytime soon. Democrats blame Republicans. Republicans blame Democrats. There you have to
round and round we go.
And exactly. There we go. Okay, so about 2,600 so-called No Kings rallies are planned tomorrow around the country, including 10 to 12 of them here in the metro area. At least it may end up being more, but it looks like about 10 to 12 when you look at both sides of the river. The Illinois protests are likely going to focus, at least in part, on federal immigration enforcement actions. Jaime Contreras with the labor union SEIU is part of the activists planning these protests.
We mobilize and organize for everyone, for working families, for immigrants, for every community that's being targeted under this administration, for everyone that deserves to live and work with dignity.
Yeah, here's the thing. If your community is being targeted by the administration to enforce laws that exist in America and are on the books and are valid, that's a good thing. Yeah. That's actually a good thing. He's making it sound like, well, we're just talking about immigrant families that are being targeted. That's kind of how he's presenting.
They always leave out a keyword.
Yeah, the illegal part.
Right.
That it's not as though it's like, hey, look, there's a brown person. Let's go get him. That's not how it works. That's not how it works.
No. And more than 1,000 illegal aliens, including one police officer,
which is crazy.
Literally a police officer in suburban Chicago, have been arrested in Chicago since the Chicago area since the immigration crackdown started last month.
You know, I would hate to ask my if a police officer pulled me over, I'd hate to ask him to show me his papers first.
That's right.
It's like, wait a second. It's like, before we get started here,
license and registration.
It's like immigration status,
please. Yeah. Good God. All right. Okay. For those of you who are interested, and I'm mentioning this in the news up because I've had so many people respond so well to what I work with at Nutrition Stop. But for those of you interested in getting healthier naturally, because there's a lot of talk about, all the chemicals and the forever food or the forever chemicals in the foods and the water and all that sort of thing. Also big pharma when everything that's going on with RFK Jr. and Maha and everything. Our friends at Nutrition Stop are offering a free seminar on Tuesday. It's called Natural Remedies That Outperform Drugs, and it's going to focus on ways to deal with pain and inflammation management to things like hormone health and doing it all without relying on big pharma and pharma products. That happens Tuesday evening at 6:30 at Nutrition Stop on Mexico Road in St. Peters. There's no charge. You don't have to pre-register. There's no fee for it. Just kind of show up if you're interested in that, ask questions, make up your own mind, and they may be able to help you out there. Okay. Ace Frehley, one of the founders of KISS, has died. Paul Daniel Frehley was 74. He died after complications from a recent fall that he took. He played guitar. He sang for KISS from 1973 through 1982, including on bangers like this. That song's never going to get stale.
No,
I love that song.
That song will exist in America forever.
I love that song.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he actually, after leaving in 1982, started a solo career. He rejoined the band in 1996, was with him for 6 years until 2002. Then he just went solo after that. Frehley also had a successful, like I mentioned, solo career as well. He was, like I said, 74 years old. All right, the Blues are at home again this weekend. They host the Stars on Saturday evening. That is a 6 p.m. start time at, obviously, Enterprise, and that game's going to be on FanDuel.
We pray to someone, but when it's said and done, it's really all the same, with just a different name.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
Some beneficial rain on the way for Saturday, but maybe a few stronger storms, too. First, though, let's squeeze in one more dry and warm day. Partly sunny this afternoon, a high of 84. Generally quiet tonight, a relatively warm low of 67. Then tomorrow, rain and storms likely as a cold front approaches. A few severe thunderstorms possible with wind and hail are main concerns. A high of 80 tomorrow. Much cooler and breezy Sunday with a high of only 66. From the First Alert 4 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers.
Fox News commentary with Jesse Waters next.
If your cash is sitting in a savings account, it's at risk. Old school advice says save more, but today the strategy is broken. When inflation spikes, they print money or cut rates, your dollar shrinks. So do your savings. The solution? Own something real. Physical gold and silver. When the dollar drops, gold and silver prices rise. And with Noble Gold, owning gold is simple. Just visit noblegoldinvestments.com and chat with a specialist. The knowledge is free. The protection is priceless. Visit noblegoldinvestments.com. Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals involves risk. Consult your financial advisor before making investment decisions.
Here's Jesse Waters.
The Iranian nuclear program has been obliterated, and the hostages are home. And peace on earth is not out of reach. The Jews and Arabs can't agree on anything, but they both agreed that they trusted Donald Trump. A few months ago, the media was saying this was impossible. Ye of little faith. Why would the media be wrong about everything and suddenly be right? Trump has experienced political redemption, and now some members of the press are starting to repent. Even notorious non-believers are experiencing a spiritual awakening. Biden's swallowing his pride and saying congrats to Trump. So did Kamala. So did the Clintons. But Obama won't do it. He's realizing slowly he's not the Messiah, and the words just won't come out. Barry can take his time, but there's no denying the success.
For more commentary like this, go to foxnewspodcast.com.
When precision matters, trust the experts who live and breathe firearms. Full Circle Reloading and Firearms. Veteran owned and operated by competitive shooters who know what it takes to win. From reloading supplies and accessories to custom rifles and cutting-edge night vision, we've got everything you need. Plus, get precision rifle training from the pros. Full Circle Reloading and Firearms. 923 South 5th Street in St. Charles, or visit FullCircleReloading.com.
Hey, it's Susie Moore. If new flooring makes you think hassle, think again, because Michael's Flooring is changing the game. For over 30 years, Michael's has been locally owned and trusted for quality, variety, and amazing service. Whether it's carpet, hardwood, laminate, luxury vinyl, or ceramic tile, their expert team makes installing new floors exciting, not stressful. That's why customers keep coming back. Visit Michael's Flooring at St. Peter's, Starting Prairie, Creve Coeur, or online at igotfloored.com. That's igotfloored.com.
JC's Wayback Machine.
You know that emergency broadcast system thing? This is only a test, and then the goofy sounding tone. You know that system did not go off on 9/11? What happened? Also, my day with Regis and Kelly, and 3 separate incidents involving St. Louis area police trying to arrest me. Plus great tunes from the 90s, 80s, and 70s. All brought to you by the Weber Automotive Group.
It's JC's Wayback Machine. Every Saturday night, 6 to 9 on News Talk STL.
Looking for an underwater adventure or a scaly new friend? Dive into Tropical World Pets on Watson Road. For 32 years, this family-owned wonderland has been St. Louis's go-to destination for all things aquatic and reptilian. With over 7,000 square feet of aquariums, we're home to the area's largest selection of freshwater fish, including rare cichlids you won't find anywhere else. But that's not all. We've got tarantulas, snakes, and lizards galore. Tropical World Pets, 314-849-4020, or visit twpstl.com.
So many ways to listen to News Talk STL.
Join the conversation. All you have to do is say,
Hey Alexa, play News Talk STL.
Welcome to News Talk STL, conservative talk radio for St. Louis.
The 80s. Excellent. Never been a decade like it. Never will be. It's Flashback Friday.
I'll tell you no lies. They say I worship the devil. They must be stupid, all right.
Hi, this is Susie Moore. Check out my show, RedState Radio, Sunday afternoon at 4, right here on News Talk STL. Now it's back to Mike Ferguson in the morning.
Still miss Ozzy.
Rest in peace.
Cannot believe Ozzy's gone. All right, 8:35. Good choices for Flashback Friday today. Man, I've been having a lot of fun with this one. Just so, I mean, I every once in a while remind people, I don't know which songs are picked until I hear them for the first time the same time you do.
Yeah, so when we get a lot of requests, I put them in a hat and I pull them out. And unfortunately, there were so many good songs that are from the 70s.
Oh, yeah.
Not
yeah,
the
yeah,
80s. It has to be 80s.
Yep. All right. Like I said, it's at 8:35 right now. The United Nations, we haven't talked about them in a while. When the United Nations is irrelevant, that's always a good thing. But the United Nations wants to tax us.
What?
Yeah, that's the word that we're getting. We're now joined by Craig Rucker from our friends at CFACT, the Committee for a Constructive Tomorrow. Okay, so talk me down from this, Craig. The United Nations is not trying to tax me to do climate change nonsense, are they? I mean, that's not really happening, is it?
Well, thanks for letting me on your show, Mike. I was going to say that not directly. What the United Nations has done is it's gotten itself involved in a lot of things that people don't generally pay attention to. And in this particular case, it's working through the International Maritime Organization, IMO, and this deals with traditionally safety standards for ships and things of that sort for international travel, which makes sense that you would have some sort of entity out there. It actually goes back to the Titanic, making sure that the shipping lanes are clear, and because those are international waters, and there's some sort of regulation so that they don't collide into each other, and things are kept in order. However, this organization, which goes back about 100 years or so, actually has deviated. Starting in about the 80s, it got involved with the United Nations and started working on things like sustainability goals and climate change. Fast-tracked, just in 2023, they adopted the UN net zero goals. They want to try and make ships that don't emit any carbon dioxide by the year 2050. So they basically jumped on board the climate bandwagon. Back in 2023, the Biden administration signed on. And now the whole controversy that's come up in just the last few weeks is that they want to try and make all ships zero carbon ships within that time frame. And those nations that don't do that or try and transition to that will get a pretty hefty tax per ton on what they transport. The Trump administration, specifically Rubio, Duffy, and Wright in Department of Energy, said that it would be disastrous for the economy, and they've threatened trade sanctions against any country that signs on to this deal. The vote is going on as we speak, but if it does go through, as it did back in, I believe, April of this year, was a preliminary vote, if the 2/3 of the nation sign on to this, yes, there would be a carbon tax collected by the UN to promote its sustainability goals and its whole climate agenda.
Okay, so when we're talking about making ships, and people here in the Midwest, I don't think we truly understand how massive these ships are, but you can't just put a muffler on one. So what is it that they're wanting to change with the ships, and how would that actually affect us getting our stuff, in addition to the United Nations doing an indirect tax, basically taxing it before it gets to the US, so we would have trouble blocking it? I mean, it would just affect our cost of living the way that a tariff would.
It's a good question. I mean, obviously something like a nuclear submarine would be zero emission, but, things like the big ships, it's a good question as to what they would actually say. We know they can't run on solar panels. We also know that natural gas would not be considered a clean fuel. And that's particularly what has the Trump administration upset. But the type of zero emission vehicles that they're talking about, whether they're electric or however they're going to go about doing it, would principally be built in China, which is one of the ones backing this treaty to a big degree, as is India, as is Brazil. So they must see it in their economic interest to pursue this, whereas Middle Eastern countries, which do a lot of the shipping, are not so interested in doing this. So I suspect it's as much an economic treaty as it has anything to do with climate. And in fact, having gone to a bunch of the climate negotiations, I would actually say that really the whole climate thing's a farce, because I don't think we're going to burn up from climate change. I think it's just being used as a way to pressure rich developed nations into benefiting China, India, and lesser developed nations through transfer payments.
Yeah, and what is it that they would do with this money that they would be trying to tax us? And by the way, I've got a hostile reaction to any sort of UN trying to tax me for anything directly or indirectly, but that's a whole other thing. But what is it, if they're successful in doing this, what is it that they would want to do with the money in the name of climate, whatever?
Yes, well, they actually, this agency, the International Maritime Organization, is committed and tied to the group that puts through something initially called Agenda 21, and it was changed to Agenda 2030. There's SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals. And these are things outlined in order to try and transfer society to be kind of what Biden was doing with the Green New Deal. A society based on, electric vehicles, getting rid of fossil fuels, miles of solar panels and things, people living in 15-minute cities, being told what type of food you can eat, like red meat, for example, would be too greenhouse gas intensive. The UN has kind of a globalist vision for how society should operate, with them in charge, of course, and probably exempt from all these things. And the UN doesn't have the money to do it because, of course, they rely mostly, I think, 90% on voluntary contributions. A tax would give them, the start of reliable income that they could, get every single year. So it's actually a very dangerous proposal, and thank God we have Trump in there trying to stop it.
Are we able to stop this? I mean, is there something the United States could do to either block it or simply refuse to allow the payments to be collected? Or is this something that would happen before the shipments get to the U.S.? I guess the simple version of that is, what can we do about it?
Well, I think the Trump administration is doing exactly what needs to be done. First thing they're trying to do is stop it. The vote is taking place as we speak here, so we don't have the results of it. There is a real chance it'll pass initially, but what the Trump administration is trying to do is not, when they say change the rules, they're actually trying to make the rules the way they traditionally are. What used to happen when you signed the Kyoto Protocol or Paris Accord is there'd be an agreement reached, but then those nations would have to go back to their legislatures or the people that elected them and get it ratified. And so the Trump administration wants that to be the case. And of course, if the IMO and China and India don't want it, they want a bunch of unelected bureaucrats to make the decision and not have to take it back to their people for a vote. But if they do take it back for their vote, then the Trump administration has lots of things at their disposal. They could put tariffs on those countries. They've said that they may not allow certain countries that have accepted this proposal to even use their ports. So they're going serious economic sanctions if countries decide to sign on to this thing. And I think it'll have an impact because, again, we're not alone. You have a number of nations that are primarily involved in shipping in the Middle East that would certainly join us. And I think there are a lot of even developing nations that would not be happy about having any sort of sanctions from the U.S.
What kind of effect could this have on our lives individually? I mean, those of us who are just buying stuff at the store or ordering stuff in. I mean, if they get this global tax on this, how much would that affect all of us here in flyover country?
Oh, I think it would affect quite a bit. I don't think it's too early that there hasn't been really economic analysis done that's reliable. I'm sure the UN has done its studies, but I wouldn't take those too seriously. As far as it goes, I mean, whenever you have a tax of this sort, I think it's $100 per ton. It could be $350 per ton. That's excessive. Those costs will be passed on to consumers, and whether that increases prices 5, 10, who knows what percent. It'll definitely be felt by people at home. But I think even more profoundly, and this is the part we want to make at CFACT, is we're allowing the UN just to start. Mm-hmm. Once you give them the power to tax, they have the power to destroy. And you're giving an agency that has been very corrupt and is pushing a very dangerous agenda a lot of money to continue doing it. It's kind of the camel's nose under the tent. So we would caution everybody that this is a dangerous development and the start of many bad things that could come if they get away with it.
All right. And we learn more about all of this stuff happening, I'm assuming, on your website, your social media. Craig, how are we in touch, and how do we keep track of this?
Certainly. We encourage people to find out more. They can visit us at CFACT.org. That's CFACT, CFACT.org.
All right. Good talking to you again, Craig. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Mike. Have a great day.
All right. And of course, like you said, given the United Nations any sort of taxation authority, that is not even just a baby step. That's a massive first step into globalist government.
Yeah, we 1776 once. We can do it again.
Yeah. All right. Got some thoughts on that. 314-912-1019. Otherwise, man, let's pay a tribute to an OG rocker, man, OG metal guy, Ace Frehley. Passed away at the age of 74. He had a really interesting life story. I've got a little synopsis of that here in about 4 minutes.
Hi, Sean Long from STL Fenceworks. A new fence or deck is an investment in your home and your lifestyle. But how do you ensure that you're getting the most out of that investment? At STL Fenceworks, we know the key is satisfaction. Satisfaction means getting a fence or deck that not only meets your needs, but exceeds your expectations. Satisfaction means working with a team that cares about your project as much as you do. Satisfaction means having confidence in the quality of your new fence or deck. knowing that it was built with the best of materials and workmanship. STL Fence Works. Your satisfaction is our passion. And for me, satisfaction is knowing that providing for your family is how I provide for mine. Visit STLFenceWorks.com and experience the satisfaction in making your backyard dreams into a reality.
Hey, Colombo here for Intervine, a great local company that has customers all across the country due to the quality of their products. Intervine has the best flashlights, lanterns, headlamps, and even batteries, including the new Monster 2000 lumen waterproof lantern and the Sentinel 2000 self-defense flashlight. Our home and vehicles are full of great Intervine products, and right now you can shop their website and get 25% off your entire purchase just by using my name, Tony, as your promo code. That's promo code Tony at Intervine.com.
Hi, Chris Arbs here. Join me and the team at Royal Banks of Missouri for their annual Economic Forecast Breakfast. The event takes place on Tuesday, November 18th at the factory in the district of the Chesterfield Valley. You'll hear from their experts and get a better understanding of what to expect from the U.S. economy in 2026 and beyond. Doors open at 7:30 a.m. and the program starts at 8 a.m. Attendance is free, but you do need to reserve a spot. You can RSVP by calling 314-212-1595. That's Royal Banks of Missouri.
Tim Jones and Chris Arbs in the afternoon.
Day 16 of the Schumer shutdown. We'll speak with Congressman Dr. Bob Onder about what it will take for Dems to open the government back up.
Tim Jones and Chris Arbs. Weekdays at 4 on News Talk STL.
Hi, it's Vic Borselli.
And Ken.
Hi, Ken.
Hey, Vic.
Ken and I are on every Monday through Friday here on News Talk STL. Right now, you're listening to Mike Ferguson in the morning on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL. Whoosh, my morning, people.
There was a guy at this concert right in front of me who may or may not have been throwing up the horns when this song was played.
Yeah. I think I might have been in the vicinity of him. He got a little too into it, didn't he?
Yeah, I don't know if you got too into it. You got into it. I think it was perfectly appropriate metal into it.
In my defense, I just wanted to rock.
Yeah. You're like, D. Snyder, you're right.
Yes.
That's what happened.
Very reasonable reaction, Mr. Snyder.
I think so. All right. 8:49 right now. Man, we have had quite a year of, Ozzy Osbourne died.
Yeah.
Now Ace Frehley has died. Ricky Rocket, who's the drummer for Poison, he put a social media post, because, in the, of course, rock and metal community, I mean, Ace Frehley's a legend. I mean, one of the founders of Kiss, and Ricky Rocket just said, go see the old guys in concert while you still can, or something like that.
Yeah.
And he's right. And that's one of the things I really like about, like, for instance, of course, Diamond Music Hall, which they're getting ready to move, I think, out to Warrenton after the end of the year. But they bring in a lot of these, 80s and 90s acts that are still touring. Del Mar Hall does that. I think the Pageant still does that a lot. And of course, Family Arena does a great job with this. And the tickets aren't that expensive, but you get a chance to see all these acts. Are they past their prime? Sure. Absolutely. But there's still a lot of fun. Ace Frehley died yesterday, 74 years old. He had suffered a fall a few weeks ago. I did not realize he'd been on life support. So I don't know the details of the fall that happened. He canceled the rest of his tour, obviously. And one of the first shows that ended up being canceled was the one he was supposed to do here about a week ago. And so his family made the decision to pull the plug last night. And so here's kind of a synopsis of his career. I mean, he was, like I said, in the 70s, one of the original members, the founders of Kiss, from the 1978 solo album. The song New York Groove, Rock and Roll All Night. He was on the Kiss Alive album. He was on, there's also a clip of him from the Today Show, talking about his struggles with drugs and his sobriety. And then obviously his rock and roll induction speech. He was inducted in 2014, but here's kind of a quick look at Ace Frehley's career.
Hi, this is Ace Frehley. Here I am, again in the city.
has actually developed a code name for cocaine. Do you want to share it with our viewers?
Well, we call it Betty White, you know. You know the story. It's all history. I've been sober now 7.5 years. Thank God.
When you think of Kiss, I mean, you think of Paul Stanley and you think of Gene Simmons. I mean, that's who you think of. And then, those of us who really liked Kiss, you think of the different names that came and went. Eric Singer, Bruce Kulick, who was fantastic as well. Ace Frehley, when you listen to his solo work, because it didn't get that much attention outside of like those of us who are like the rock fans. It's weird to say that a founding OG member of Kiss would be underrated, but I don't think people appreciated his solo work because one of the main reasons he left the band is they were going in this sort of, psychedelic, 70s, experimental, proggy, kind of, concept album things that were popular at the time. And he's like, no, I'm a rock and roll guy. I'm going to be in your face with guitar riffs. And that was one of the disagreements that they had. Of course, there were a lot of substances flying around and there are other things that happened with that. But he was the spaceman of the characters. He was the spaceman, they all had those. And so he was the weird one of the weird ones, but he really kind of got what was different about him,
Yeah. I mean, when I was growing up, it always looked to me like they were all auditioning for different musicals.
Right.
They happened to end up in the same room together, but his makeup was definitely the one that stuck out the most.
Oh, yeah,
to me. And it's going to sound really stupid, but that alone, when, as I was getting older, led me to want to look more into like, what's he about?
Right.
He's really good at guitar, undeniable talent.
Yeah.
And it's, I don't want to say it's a shame because every death is a shame,
Sure.
but the impact that he had on rock and roll and the genres that came after it is absolutely undeniable.
Yeah. I mean, good voice, okay voice for a rock guy, but man, he
for a New Yorker,
yeah, exactly. But I mean, for him, it was that that hit you in the face with the guitar licks,
yes,
kind of thing, and that's what he was all about. I mean, it's funny because you look at interviews with, like, for instance, Gene Simmons over the years, and Gene Simmons is the first one to tell you Kiss isn't about the music. We're a marketing company. I mean, he's like, we're here to sell you stuff, and
by the Gene Simmons vault, by the way.
That's right. And Paul Stanley is, I think, more of the overall musician. He actually put out a soul album 2 or 3 years ago. And it was the songs I heard off of it were really, really good. And you go, man, this guy can really sing. Ace Frehley, oh my gosh, he is just the rock star. We're here to do hard rock and metal. I don't care if it's in an arena or in front of a bar with 100 people. I mean, that's that to me was kind of the grounding of, this is what we're putting out there.
Yeah. And PMS says Ace is one of the most underrated guitarists of all time.
Yeah. I don't disagree.
I mean, I kind of missed out on the disco rock, shock rock era,
which the disco rock thing was a really bad era. It was bad. It was bad.
But yeah, I mean, I've never really, I was more of into the bass and the drums, but the more I started to actually look into his guitar playing, it's just like, it's kind of like with AC/DC. It doesn't catch you right away until you actually start getting into music. And then you're like,
right.
That is actually a really clever lick. That is actually really like profound in some ways.
What's really funny is when I was in grade school, I was in Decatur, Illinois, and I went to a private school called East Park Baptist Academy.
Oh,
just outside of Decatur, Illinois. And once a week we had these chapel services that all the grade school, first through sixth grade and first grade side here and second. And it was a church service, just in the school. And we did chapel once a week. And, that was just sort of preparation for, adult life in the church. Okay, that's what parochial schools are supposed to do. I get it. But I remember one, I don't know why, because I don't remember this. We're talking the 70s, here, early 80s. And I remember the whoever was preaching, which I think was like our principal or assistant principal, going off on a tangent preaching against Kiss.
Yeah.
The rock band Kiss, literally by name, preaching against KISS.
We at my Sunday school, they were like, it stands for Knights in Service to Satan.
Yeah,
I was like,
which
okay, I'm not sure about that.
It doesn't. They were like, that was like, now that was great for their marketing because it made
Mm-hmm.
them edgier. But they're like, no, that had nothing to do with it. It's funny because that just made me more curious about them. And then when I get a little bit older and I get into KISS a little bit, I mean, they weren't my top band, but I'm like, these guys are basically cartoon characters.
Yeah.
I mean, it was some of the least offensive of all the stuff to get mad about. That wasn't it, but that's the one that they decided to preach. Of course, I discovered him in the 80s, more the Bruce Kulick era of it. And then I went and discovered the old, Ace Frehley era of it as well.
Family Guy was my exposure to KISS.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. So, I remember when MTV unmasked the band and everything. So, rest in peace, Spaceman.
Chris Arps here, and after